Good evening and welcome to Derby Date Night. We are coming to you live from Muncie, Indiana, where you are joining us for Cornfed Roller Derby's home opener. Tonight we will be live streaming two exciting games as Cornfed will be taking on Louisville Roller Derby. Welcome to our game tonight. Our first game is out of this world with Cornfed All-Stars taking on Louisville All-Stars. Then stick around for a second game between Cornfed's Killer Kernels and Louisville's Bourbon Brawlers. My name is Aria Kidding Me, and I am one half of the Derby Date Night team. I'll be giving you play-by-play and corny puns you have come to enjoy. But it wouldn't be a date night without a date, so I'm here with my husband, Seriously, who makes all the behind-the-scenes technical things happen. Our first whistle has blown. Melody Mayhem is jamming for Cornfed, and Sweet Revenge is jamming for Louisville. Sweet Revenge getting around on the inside, gets out to obtain lead jammer status. Mel is not far behind. She did have to take that jammer hat off, but has it back on. As Sweet Revenge is coming around and entering the pack, Rogue tries to hit them out to the outside, but she is able to stay in. Mel, also coming around, is unable to score any points as that jam is called off. Lining up for our second jam of the night, we've got Spinelli for Cornfed, and I think it's Nancy for Louisville. That was only 1 point in that last jam for Louisville. As that jam begins, Spinelli's trying to hit through the outside and the middle. Nancy, trying to find some space, is able to do so to grab that lead jammer status, but Spinelli is out not far behind. Both jammers are racing towards the pack. They will get points for every skater they pass now who is on the other team. Nancy hitting the pack and immediately touching her hips, which means she is saying, call that jam off. I want that jam to end before anybody else can score any points. And that's exactly what she did, scoring 2 points there to Cornfed 0. Alexecutioner lining up against Danger Pickle for this next jam. As the jam begins, Alexa trying to find space, sweeping from the inside to the outside, getting pushed out by number 6, Celia Graves, being forced to recycle to the back. Pickle is also being pushed to the back. Looks like a tag team of Rogue and Wanda. Alexa trying to push through, just has to get past Dave and Buster and another Louisville blocker to be able to get out of the pack. She's stretching that pack out. Pickle being held by Wanda, French, and Rogue. Lexa is out and will be lead jammer as Pickle is being forced to recycle again. Lexa coming through on her first scoring pass. Pickle now has that hat off and might be trying to pass it to the pivot, who could become jammer if she takes that hat from the jammer. Pickle has been pushed out again. Rogue getting called on an out-of-play penalty is headed to the box, which gives Pickle the opportunity to be able to get out. At the same time, Lexa was called on a penalty and will be heading to the box, which means that this jam will be going the full 2 minutes as Pickle enters the pack on a scoring pass. Looking to find some space there, getting pushed to the outside by one-hit Wanda, who's going to force her to recycle and come back. Wanda and Ivy working together to try and make sure that she is not able to capitalize on this power jam while Alexa sits in the penalty box. Alexa and Rogue both in the penalty box, both standing. They will be coming out soon. Rogue is now back in. Alexa coming right behind her as Pickle stretching that pack out, gets pushed to the outside by Amy. And Alexa immediately finding space with 15 seconds left in this jam. She is able to get through for 4 points. Pickle also finding space, but not so fast. Rogue shuts that door on Pickle. Pickle re-enters after Rogue pushed her out, which means that is a track cut on Pickle at the end of that jam. So Pickle will start this next jam in the penalty box. So Cornfed will have what's called a power jam, which means they will have one jammer out there for 30 seconds while Pickle sits in the box. Cornfed has a great opportunity here to add some points and hopefully get lead jammer status. Louisville still holding on to a lead with 2 points over Cornfed. As that jam gets started, we've got Misadventure lined up for Cornfed. Like I said before, this is a power jam, so Misadventure is the only jammer on the track for 30 full seconds. Misadventure getting pushed to the back, forced to recycle by Louisville blockers who are pushing her out. Cosmo trying to do a little offense-defense there as Ed is recycled to the back, hoping for some help from her teammates. This pack is going real slow. Cornfed trying to help Ed through. Louisville trying to stop Ed. Ed getting pushed to the inside and forced to recycle by number 15, E2. As Pickle comes back in, takes a big hit from Cosmo, pushed to the outside, is coming back in. Ed being pushed to the inside. Neither jammer is finding much space here. Ed has now been called on a penalty and will be headed to the box. But while Pickle got out, star was passed, so our pivot, E2, the pivot, is now the jammer of record. But because that star was taken off by the Louisville team, that means that there will be no lead jammer in this jam. So this jam will go the full 2 minutes. As Ed sits in the box, Louisville picks up 4 more points. We've got 45 seconds left in this jam as Ed is standing in the box, less than 10 seconds until Ed comes back into the game. E2 getting pushed to the outside there by Cosmo, so that will slow E2 down just a little bit as Ed is coming back in. Louisville's taken the lead here with 11 points to 5. Ed's coming back in as E2 gets out of the pack and grabs all 4 of those points. Ed takes that star off and is trying to hand it to the pivot, Cosmo Payne, who I think has taken that star and is now the jammer for Cornfed as E2 comes sailing through the pack for 4 more points of their own. Cosmo looking for that space is able to find it. Cosmo is not the lead jammer here and was not scoring any points because that was still the initial pass, and so that means that there weren't any points there. But Cornfed was able to get out of the pack there, just weren't able to score any points. So that was a really great jam for Louisville in scoring 12 points in that jam. Welcome again. This game has just gotten started very quickly here. We're so glad to have you here on our first Derby date night since, I think, August. We're so excited to be back at it again. Melody Mayhem lining up for Cornfed against Smack Harlow from Louisville. Both jammers trying to find some space. Both teams focusing on defense. Mel just has to get past Dave and Buster, is able to do so, and will come out as your lead jammer. Smack Harlow trying to find some space, does a little dip under French, and is pushed to the inside by Rogue. As Mel comes through with a little zigzag, Mel is going to get 4 points for Cornfed, trying to cut into that lead that Louisville has established. Smack still trying to find space, trying to get past Rogue and Amy, which is a hard task to do. Mel comes in again, takes advantage of a broken up pack and grabs 4 more points for Cornfed. Smack is up to the top of the pack, but is not able to get past French and will be forced to go all the way to the back of the pack. I just heard a whistle, so somebody's going to the penalty box, but it's not Mel as she comes out of the pack again for 4 more points for Cornfed. Mel has really cut into that lead. Louisville only ahead by 2 points now. There has now been a star pass for Louisville. Ellie Slay will now be the jammer for Louisville. Mel pushing her way again and is able to get out again for 4 more points, and there has now been a lead change. Ellie was able to get out of the pack and will be chasing Mel down with 30 seconds left in this jam. Mel is looking at her bench to decide whether to score and call. She's just going to keep on going, so she's going to let Ellie try to score some points here. Mel calls the jam, but not before that lead change, making sure that Cornfed dominated in that jam. Cornfed is now at 25 to Louisville's 20. Ellie Slay was able to grab 1 point at the end there, and so that was a very hard-earned point right there. Lining up for Cornfed is Spinelli, and KCDC is lining up for Louisville. As the jam gets started, both jammers juking back and forth, trying to find some space. The pack is a little jumbled up here. And KCDC sees a big hole on the outside and runs up that outside to grab that lead jammer status. But Spinelli is not far behind, and this will be no, it will not be a race. Spinelli was called on a track cut and will be headed to the box for 30 seconds, giving KCDC an opportunity to grab some points. And she just did, grabbing 4 points there for Louisville and coming around. Speedy jammer, KCDC. Look how fast she's going. And little hop there on the outside, sailing through for 4 more points. Great offense there by the Louisville team as Spinelli waits in the box. KCDC coming around again. Trying to find some space and is able to do so for another 4 points with a little hop as Spinelli is coming out of the box. We have got another lead change here. Louisville taking that lead back that Mel worked so hard to get last jam, but Spinelli is back out there. Spinelli is currently still on, no, she's not on her initial, so she should be scoring points if she is able to get through. Spinelli is holding the jammer star, but is still the jammer. She was able to push through. Looks like she was not scoring points, so that was still her initial. So she has not scored points yet. KCDC watching Spinelli to make sure that she is not able to score points before calling off the jam.
Score on the board, 36 Louisville, Cornfed 25.
There is 19 minutes left in this first half. It has been going so fast so far. This is a very quick game, and we have had 2 lead changes already. We have not had any timeouts. Typically at this point in a game, we see one of the teams calling a timeout, but I guess it's both teams want to have this fast-paced game right now. Lexecutioner lining up for Cornfed, Sweet Revenge for Louisville. Lex grabbing that lead jammer status very quickly. Sweet Revenge looking for some help, but we've got some only 2 blockers out there to help Sweet Revenge because there were 2 blockers in the penalty box at the beginning of the jam. Sweet Revenge able to get out and is able to get there. Lex is also through the pack for 4 points. Lex is definitely watching to see and make sure that she can call that jam by putting her hands on her hips before Louisville can pick up any points.
Do check out Ruddick Land Conservancy at fortheland.org. And do again, stop by both teams' tables for swag.
Louisville with a lead of 7. Miss Adventure lining up for Cornfed, and Nancy is lining up for Louisville. I was told earlier that Nancy has been skating with Louisville since 2010, so that is quite a long time for a skating career. And Nancy is lead jammer, showing you that expertise and the length of time that they have been skating. But Miss Adventure is also out of the pack, about half a track behind Nancy. Nancy coming into the pack, trying to push through. Ed also in the pack and looking to score some points. Nancy calls it. Ed is hoping that maybe she grabbed a point here or there, but looks like there were no points scored for Cornfed. In order to score points, you must get your hips past the hips of one of the opposing skaters. We have got the crowd going wild here. One of our former skaters, Daisy Doom, is hyping up the crowd with some homemade signs as Mel, ooh, beautiful spin, does get lead jammer but is knocked down and is being forced to recycle. However, she already had passed all the skaters, so she was lead jammer. She is now through again and is still lead jammer and coming around trying to score some points here. KCDC spies some open space on the inside line and dashes through as Mel comes around on her first scoring pass. KCDC coming around about a quarter track behind Mel. Mel looking to push through. She's just got to get past Ellie Slay here. She's got some tough blockers to get past and decides to call the jam. Looks like 3 points were scored for Louisville and 4 points for Cornfed. Louisville now with a lead of 10. Still anybody's game. Seems like we're kind of taking turns with whose jam is it. Smack Harlow lining up for Louisville and Spinelli lining up for Cornfed. I'm very aware I keep saying Louisville differently every time. I practiced all week. I'll get there. Don't worry. We'll work on it all night. We'll work on how to say it. All right, as we get started, Smack Harlow is pulling the pack to the front and is able to grab lead jammer status. Spinelli taking the cover off of her head, might be looking for the pivot. Cosmo Payne, who is currently focused on defense as Smack Harlow is coming into the pack, getting pushed to the outside by Cosmo, who is going to pull her all the way back as Ellie is coming around. Smack, being very aware that she is lead jammer, decides to call the jam before Spinelli can come in and score any points of her own, which means no points were scored in that jam. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. We're really working to build our channel and make sure that you can have Derby Date Night more and more, and we are hoping to maybe do a little traveling. Cornfed has now called a timeout, so this game might slow down just a little bit here. As I mentioned earlier, we are so excited to be here. My name is Aria Kidding Me. I am one half of the Derby Date Night team. The other half is seriously my husband, and I don't know if he'd be the better half, but he is the other half, and he does all the technical things here. He's also been able to grab some volunteers from Ball State Media, and they are running the cameras tonight. So thank you to Desiree, Cade, and Joyce. We couldn't do it without help from our volunteers, and we really appreciate them. And it wouldn't be a Derby Date Night without leaving the kids at home. So as usual, we have left our kids, OMG and LOL, home. They are taking care of the dog and probably on the PlayStation, would be my guess. This is the All-Star game. So this is the All-Star team from Cornfed and the All-Star team from Louisville. After this game, we will have a second game with the Cornfed Killer Kernels and the Louisville Bourbon Brawlers, which is their B-Team. Danger Pickle lining up for Louisville and Alexecutioner for Cornfed. Danger Pickle trying to find their way around. Alexecutioner pushing to the outside. Both teams focusing purely on defense right now. Pickle trying to push this tripod of Cornfed blockers apart. Is pushed to the outside and is going to be forced to recycle. We are at turn 3, and I do not believe we have a lead jammer established yet. Turn 4 and still no lead jammer. Beautiful hit by Wanda. Wanda and Rogue now working together to hold Pickle. Alexa at the back of the pack getting pushed to the inside, trying to get through. Pickle finding some space, coming up against just Wanda. Wanda having to let her go, taking a whole lap to earn that lead jammer status. That was tough and very well deserved by Pickle, who is trying to come around on their first scoring pass. Alexa trying to find space, has 2 blockers to get past, has that jammer star off, might be looking to pass it to the pivot. Pickle coming through on a scoring pass, getting pushed by Wanda and forced to recycle. Alexa still stuck in the pack and has not come out, is still on the initial, is able to do a little bit of tiptoeing there to get out of the pack, and is now free as Pickle came through for 4 points. Pickle watching Alexa. Is Pickle going to let her try and score some points? Looks like she is. Both jammers entering the pack, both eligible to score. Alexa getting forced to recycle. Pickle pulling to the front of the pack, getting slowed down by, looks like, is that Wanda, Ivy, and Tracy. Lexa being held there by Celia Graves, who is one of the original skaters for Louisville. She's been skating with Louisville since the beginning, or close to the beginning. Yes, Cassie, I noticed that too. I was like, well, we call her One Hit Wanda, but as a nickname, we call Wanda Pickle. And so it was Pickle versus Pickle for a while there. So that was kind of fun with the Pickle. And there's the first food reference of the night. I always get hungry doing these, so a pickle sounds pretty good right now. Misadventure lining up against Sweet Revenge. Revenge getting that lead jammer status and coming just blasting out of the pack there. Ed getting pushed to the inside there by, I think that was Dingo Kate, my baby. No, it was Slamma Saran. Slamma Saran with that big hit on Misadventure. Sweet Revenge is getting pushed to the outside, trying to find some space as Misadventure comes in on her first scoring pass. Pack is moving, getting stretched out there. Sweet Revenge finding space to grab those 4 points for Louisville. Ed trying to push through. Just has to get past one Louisville blocker, is able to do so as Sweet Revenge hits the pack again, looking for points of their own, grabs those points, and calls that jam off. Louisville scoring 8 to Cornfed's 4 in that jam. Louisville 57, Cornfed 39.
57-39 with 10:55 left in the period. Nancy taking on Melody Mayhem.
Nancy lining up for Louisville, and Melody Mayhem lining up for Cornfed. Melody Mayhem this year taking the captain position for the first time in her derby career. So very excited to see Mel, who is also a referee, as in that captain position. So if Cornfed needs to call any official reviews, Mel knows a little bit about officials, since she is a referee in her spare time when she's not jamming. Nancy taking that lead jammer status, but Mel is not far behind. These two jammers are going to race to the pack as the pack is speeding up a little bit. They've decided to stop, I think, and wait for those jammers. They're both going to hit the pack at almost the same time. Nancy trying to grab 1 point before calling that jam off, and she was able to grab that one lonely point in a jam. This is Cornfed's home opener. We have a full house tonight. Lots of people here cheering teams on. I love seeing all the signs and all of the good spirit from everybody. And Louisville brought their own cheering section too, so not bad there. Spinelli lining up for Cornfed and Glitterous for Louisville. Spinelli speeding through, just quickly grabbing that lead jammer status. Glitterous trying to find some space, needs to get past, and is able to do so as Spinelli hits the pack and takes a big hit from, not sure who. Penalty being called there on somebody as Spinelli is sent to the box. So Spinelli will be sitting for 30 seconds. Glit is getting forced to recycle by Cosmo. I think with the pace of this game so far, it is a little bit tiring out there for everybody. You can definitely see. Cosmo is just, Cosmo is hard to get past right now. Spinelli is now standing and will be coming out, but Glit has got to get past Cosmo. Is able to do so, had to stretch the pack out until Cosmo had to let her go. Spinelli back on the track now. Spinelli hitting that pack and getting trapped by a tripod of blockers from Louisville as Glitt is being forced to recycle and trying to find some space, hoping that Cornfed team is broken apart, but they are pretty a solid wall there as Spinelli doing some jumps and hops is able to get through for 4 points. Glitt getting a little bit trapped, pushed to the outside, tries to call the jam off, but I don't think Glitt was able to keep lead jammer status. So this is, no one can call it off at this point. We do not have a lead jammer. Spinelli coming around. Oh, because Spinelli was lead, that's why. Glitt must have just thought that she was lead. But because Spinelli went to the box, she lost lead, so that makes it a 2-minute jam. Spinelli pushing from side to side, getting forced to the inside there by those 2 blockers from Louisville, and that jam is called, and everyone is exhausted after that. That was a long jam, and that was very physical as well, and I'm sure everyone is tired. I don't know if was a timeout called. One of the Louisville coaches is running out to ask a question to one of the refs. Nope, headed back to the bench. Looks like no timeout is going to be called. Just a quick clarification about something. So Cornfed was able to outscore Louisville in that last jam. Louisville starting with a jammer in the box. Melody Mayhem is the jammer for Cornfed, taking a shirt whip off of one-hit Wanda to swing herself around and grab that lead jammer status. Glitt is out of the box and getting pushed to the outside by Rogue, who clears a path for Melody to be able to sail through for 4 points. That was beautiful offense and defense all at the same time. Glitt has that star off and what did pass that to Dave and Buster, who will now be the jammer for Louisville. As Mel is hitting the pack again, she is leaving some Louisville blockers in her wake as she comes through for another 4 points. A little bit of a tumble and everybody's a little bit slow to get up there. Dave and Buster is now jamming. Melody through for 4 more points. Cringing a little bit. She might have taken a big hit there on one of those. There was a lot of tumbling happening there, so hopefully everybody's okay. Oh my goodness, more tumbling. Dave and Buster still trying to get out. Dave and Buster still on their initial, getting pushed to the inside by Wanda. Louisville blocker coming out of the penalty box. Dave and Buster finally able to get out. Mel is sitting in the penalty box at this point. It's kind of far away from where I'm at, so I didn't see what led to the penalty there. But Dave and Buster will now have a power jam. This jam, again, is going to go the full 2 minutes. Cornfed tried to push Dave and Buster out. Dave and Buster using full strength to be able to stay inbounds and get through for 4 points. Mel is out of the box and will be entering they've got about 7 seconds to try and score points here before this jam will end, and I'm sure everyone will go get a big drink of water. Mel is calling an official review. Something must have happened in that last jam that Mel would like to discuss. So what happens during an official review is the captains from both teams and the coaches from both teams will go approach the referees, and they will discuss what it is that they feel might have happened, that they would like a penalty called on someone, they would like something reversed. A lot of times it's usually wanting a penalty called on a jammer, because if you can get a penalty called on a jammer, then they start the next jam sitting in the box. So we'll see. Sometimes they come over and tell me what the official reviews are about. Sometimes I just get to make it up. But if you look at the score right now, we are only 1 point away. 69 for Cornfed, 70 for Louisville. This has been a great game so far. Yes, I agree. I love looking at the chat. Cosmo's on fire. Ellie's on fire. Tracy, who now goes by French. I don't know how I'm going to call Tracy French, but French is on fire. Everybody is, Wanda, everyone has just been doing such a great job. I've seen so many great hits, and Louisville is answering every single one of them. And really, like, these teams are so evenly matched. This has been so fun to watch so far. And then we've got our cheerleader, Daisy, who has been hyping up this entire crowd. It has been wonderful watching Daisy, our retired skater, become our head cheerleader. I don't know. We don't have cheerleaders, but if we did, Daisy would be head cheerleader. Top Kernel? What's a good funny corn thing for like pop of the pack? Killer Queen. Yes, Killer Queen has been doing a great job tonight. Shout out in the chat. Who are you rooting for tonight? Are you here rooting for Louisville? Are you here rooting for Cornfed? Or are you here rooting for good Derby? And if you're rooting for good Derby, you are getting quite a good show. As I said earlier, Derby Date Night is back, and we are so excited to be back. We will be coming to you at least once a month, I think, between now and July or August, sometimes twice a month. Our next game will be in Indianapolis with our other favorite team, Circle City Roller Derby. As Cornfed will be traveling to Indianapolis, we'll be traveling with them. So definitely tune in again on March 23rd for Cornfed's first away game versus Circle City. Baddison's here rooting for Cornfed. Boggs is here rooting for Corn. D from Cleveland. Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. KCDC and Ellie both exiting practically at the same time, but Spinelli is able to grab lead, and this pack is going fast. We are going to have a race. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm exhausted just looking at this. The jammers have to keep up with the pack, and they are gonna make it difficult. The crowd is going wild, and Spinelli says, no, this is too much. Louisville is very proud of themselves. They clearly had a plan there to, if Cornfed gets lead, we're gonna run. And run they did, and they were able to protect their points. This is gonna be interesting if this is gonna be the strategy from here on out. That was beautiful. Celia Graves, congratulations on your first game back. Baddison here rooting for us. I see Burning River in the chat. Nice to see you guys. We love Burnt Corn, love Burning River, Cornfed and Burning River. Good team friends for a long time. Melody jamming for Cornfed. Nancy for Louisville. Nancy getting that lead jammer status. Mel getting out of the pack as Nancy is entering the pack on her first scoring pass. Nancy is out after scoring 4 points. We have one Cornfed blocker and one Louisville blocker in the, no, two Louisville blockers are now in the penalty box with one Cornfed blocker in the penalty box. So we will be down a couple blockers as Spinelli and the Louisville jammer line up. Dave and Buster fans in the chat as well. Yeah, Mel just shrugging off those hits. Oh, well, somebody hit me. I'm not going to move. As we get started, Sweet Revenge and Spinelli. Spinelli finding space on the inside. But Sweet Revenge is going to be chasing Spinelli down. And we are we going to be racing again? Spinelli is lead. We are running again. Everybody is out of the box. Everybody is running. Jammers are pushing each other. Spinelli has decided to slow down Sweet Revenge. Cornfed deciding to slow down the pack. Spinelli doing a little apex jump and calling the jam, hoping that Sweet Revenge was not able to get any points there. That was beautiful. That was great strategy from Spinelli there. If you're going to race, then I'm going to hold this jammer. What I have never seen happen, and I'm curious, what if you slowed the other jammer down enough that the pack then caught up to you and you were swallowed by the pack again? I don't know who would score points. Well, you wouldn't because you already made that pass. So if the pack swallowed you again, you'd have to get the points again, right? That would be crazy. Oh, this is just such a fun game. We've only got a minute and a half left in this first half, and this game continues to be incredibly close as Melody Mayhem takes a big hit from Dave and Buster to the outside and is forced to recycle. Smack Harlow jamming for Louisville, almost out, but taking a hit from French, being forced to recycle to the inside as Melody pushes through to get out as your lead jammer. Eat the baby. Oh, chaos. I have not heard that phrase in so long. You're right. That would be fabulous. But for the pack, woo, Melody, beautiful way to stretch out the pack and grab 4 points. Now only 2 points behind Louisville as this period only has 50 seconds left. If this jam goes to the end, this could be the last jam of the period. Melody sailing through again. Cornfed now has the lead as Dave and Buster, I feel like, is headed to the penalty box, but is not the jammer. Smack Harlow was trying to pass the star, but now has no one to pass it to. Dave and Buster being pulled out of the penalty box after some confusion. Looks like maybe there was no penalty there. Melody stretching that pack out, trying to get a few more points here, is able to do so to bring that total to 12. Cornfed breaking that 80 mark. 81-75 right now. Louisville trying to get their bearings. Smack Harlow did pass that star to Dave and Buster. Melody went to the box and will be starting the next period in the box. So next half will be started with the jammer in the penalty box. Dave and Buster trying so hard to find any points, is able to get out of the pack, does a little tiptoe there to get out. I believe that was the initial though, so there's 11 seconds left. Dave and Buster are going to try to score some points here to be able to get it a little bit closer as we head into halftime. And that is the jam, and that is the half. Looks like Dave and Buster was able to grab 1 point there, so the total should be 81-76. I'm waiting for the score to catch up with what I just saw the ref saying, which was that there was 1 point there from Louisville. So this will be the half. We're going to take a break, but this has been such a hard-hitting and fast first half. Do not forget to vote for your fan favorite. You all can do that from home. If you go to Cornfed's Facebook page and find the digital program, you can go on there and you can find your favorite and vote for them, and we can see at the end who ends up being the fan favorites. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We are really trying to build our channel, so give us a like, subscribe, so that you can keep seeing all the good roller derby that we're going to be bringing to you for the next 6 months. Welcome back to the second half of the Cornfed home opener, where Cornfed Roller Derby will be battling against the Louisville All-Stars. We have had a amazing first half with only 2 points separating these two teams. Both teams playing incredibly hard. We have got a full house here tonight. Our bleachers are full. We've got people spilling out into the aisles. It's been just a great vibe and a really great game so far. During halftime, I even met six people who had come all the way from Texas just to support Biz, who is one of our referees, and all 6 of them are wearing their own referee shirts and have posters for Biz to celebrate Biz, and just they came all the way from Texas just for that, which I think is just amazing. Again, we are Derby Date Night. I am Aria Kidding Me, and I am here with Sirius Lee, my husband and partner in crime. We make up the team when we leave our kids alone so we can have a night out with some great roller derby and be able to watch it with you. This game has been crazy. It's been going so fast. There have been so many hard hits. Cornfed and Louisville are no strangers to each other. Last June at Small Town Smackdown, the B teams played each other in a nail-biter matchup, not unlike this one, and that ended with only 13 points separating the teams. That time, Cornfed was victorious. Let's see who's going to be victorious this time. Cosmo lining up for Cornfed. First time jamming this game. Nancy for Louisville. Cosmo pushing their way out, is out as your lead jammer. Nancy trying to find some space. Everybody's kind of all jumbled up in there, and Cornfed's doing a great job recycling in front of Nancy as Cosmo comes around on their first scoring pass and dips under and gets 4 points. Nancy is also out of the pack now and chasing Cosmo down. Cosmo's already gotten 4 points. We'll be trying to get a few more possibly before calling this jam off. Cosmo getting into the pack, grabs a couple points. Oh, looks like Cosmo grabbed 2 points and Nancy was not able to grab any. Great strong start there for Cornfed. Smack Harlow lining up for Cornfed. And Mel will be jamming, or Mel for Cornfed and Smack Harlow for Louisville. I was just noticing that Cosmo put the pivot hat on and is back out after jamming. When I used to play, if I ever jammed, there was no way I was going out in the next jam, especially as a pivot, where you could potentially end up being the jammer. As the jam starts, Mel is at a standstill with a strong tripod from Louisville. Smack is pulling this pack apart, forcing them to bridge, and is able to get through. Mel has that star off and is looking for Cosmo and might be thinking about passing it. Sees a hole on the inside and just really beautifully is able to take that inside line to get out as Smack comes around after scoring 4 points. Mel is looking to hit the pack but is not able to because Smack is going to call that jam before Mel is able to score any points. So, first jam was Cornfed's. Second jam was Louisville's. Wonder if they're going to keep doing this for the rest of the night. Battison, I agree. It's weird seeing Boggs in the chat. We will hopefully see Boggs out on the track again soon, and I hope you feel better soon, Boggs. As this jam starts, Spinelli for Cornfed, Sweet Revenge for Louisville. Sweet Revenge finding space to get out as your lead jammer. Spinelli finding space on the inside, is out about half a track behind Sweet Revenge. Sweet Revenge is sprinting towards that pack. The pack is speeding up. Spinelli is trying to find space. Huge hit from Rogue on Sweet Revenge, forcing Sweet Revenge to call the jam. Sweet Revenge was able to grab 1 point, but no more in that quick jam.
2 points on that pass. 86-84.
All right, we've got a blocker sitting in the box for Louisville and a blocker standing in the box for Cornfed. So we will start with 3 blockers from each team out on the track. Looks like Lexecutioner is lining up for Cornfed and KCDC for Louisville. Looking for some space, hopping around Cosmo, barely staying in bounds, but is able to get out as your lead jammer. Lexa finding Cosmo, hands Cosmo the star. Cosmo is now the jammer for Cornfed as KCDC hits the pack. great offense there from E2 Brute to open up some space on the outside for KCDC to grab 4 points and call the jam before Cosmo can score any points of their own. 2 points separating these two teams, Louisville at 88, Cornfed at 86. It has only been 4 jams since we started the second half, and it feels like a lot more. This game is this is a fun game. I've missed being here and doing this. It's really fun to have Derby Date Night back again. All right, Melody Mayhem lining up for Cornfed and Nancy for Louisville. My Apple Watch just told me I achieved my move goal. I am literally not moving right now, but I must be moving enough that I have achieved my step goal. All right, Nancy trying to find some space. Melody getting pushed to the outside. Nancy getting pushed to the inside. There's some whistles happening, so I think there might be some people going to the box. Melody is lead jammer. Nancy trying to find some space. Takes that jammer star off, might be looking for a pivot to pass it to. Melody sweeping her way through the pack, finding some space, doing one of her signature spin moves on the outside. Nancy still has the star right now. Takes a little tumble. Mel also taking a tumble there. Mel going to the inside. Rogue holding. Doing a great job. This pack has slowed down to practically a standstill, but Mel somehow comes out of that pack after scoring 4 more points for Cornfed. Nancy almost out of the pack, takes a huge hit from Rogue, followed by another huge hit from Wanda, but unfortunately Wanda will be headed to the penalty box after that one. Nancy coming back in, but Nancy's still stuck in the pack as Mel is in the pack again, trying to find some space, taking a big hit to the outside, getting forced to recycle. Nancy getting through, just barely getting around B squared to get out of the pack, and will now be on a scoring pass as Mel is trying to find space of her own. She makes sure to stick her butt out past the other skaters' butts so she can grab as many points as she can, bringing her total in that jam to 12. Louisville was able to score 2 points, so we have an 8-point gap between the teams. Wanda is owning that outside line. It's becoming a very difficult place for people to go. Really, any line. These skaters have all been doing such a great job at protecting both the inside and outside. It's been really hard for jammers to find that space. When they do, it's usually because offense has created a space for them. For both teams, this is such a fun game. The cheering squad continuing to go crazy and have fun. Spinelli for Cornfed, Smack Harlow for Louisville. Smack trying to break up this tripod, getting pushed to the outside. Cosmo recycling. Spinelli also getting pushed to the back. Needs to get past Black and Decker, pushing Spinelli out to the outside. Smack Harlow found some space and became lead jammer. Spinelli taking a big hit, almost gets swallowed up by the pack, but is able to get up and get going before that happens. Smack approaching the pack on a scoring pass, looking for some offense with a truck and trailer move. Calls the jam, hoping that Spinelli wasn't able to score any points. Let's see. 3 points for Louisville, bringing that gap to within 5 points. This has been such a fast game, but also such a low-scoring game. It's been really interesting watching how tight everyone is keeping it. Miss Adventure lining up for Cornfed. And Sweet Revenge for Louisville. Starting off slow here. Both teams have skaters, it looks like, in the box, so only having to get past a tripod. Ed is able to get out as your lead jammer. Sweet Revenge is just going to have to get past Killer Queen and French. Big hit from French to the outside as Ed comes in on her first scoring pass. Ed taking a hit to the outside. Penalty called on the person who did that hit, so Ed is able to come back in, looking for some help. Sweet Revenge needs to get past Rogue, is able to do so to get out of that pack, but is not lead jammer. Ed is and comes out with scoring 4 points here. Is Ed gonna... Ed is watching to try and decide. Ed decides to call it before Sweet Revenge can score any points. That takes Cornfed above the 100 mark for the first time, 102 to 93. I'm hearing a timeout being called by Louisville. Timeout, not official review. An official review is the O. A timeout is just, let's take a breather. Yep.
Again, we'd like to thank all of these sponsors.
We appreciate having all of you here. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, so you can see all the fun things that we do and all the fun places that we go. We are very close to getting to 500. When I looked earlier, we were at 442 subscribers. So I can't believe we're within reach of having 500 subscribers. I love the fact that this roller derby community is supporting us in this fun little hobby that we have of bringing live roller derby to you from Central Indiana and maybe someday beyond, but so far just Central Indiana. And there is our resident corn leader. I don't know, Colonel. She can be our Colonel. Oh, that's so cute. I'm just amusing myself over here. KCDC is lining up for Louisville, and Mel Mayhem is lining up for Cornfed. Oh, that was so adorable! KCDC went under the arms of two of her teammates to get through as lead jammer, as Mel is trying to stretch this pack out. They're trying to push her to the inside. She's not movable and is just pushing as hard as she can. KCDC is on a scoring pass, trying to find some space to get around the Cornfed blockers, who are 4 all the way across, covering that inside and outside. Mel is out, but will not score any points because KCDC is going to call that jam before any points can be scored by Cornfed, bringing Louisville within 5 again. Oh, Battison, we don't plan to ever leave you. When our kids grow up and we have derby date nights without kids, we would love to do like a road trip where we can just go to derby games all across the United States. Maybe we can have a bunch of our friends travel with us. Big old caravan, derby caravan. Ooh, nice offense by Wanda, clearing that outside for Spinelli, who takes that, and that was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Spinelli is your lead jammer. Nancy is in that pack, trying to find some space. Wanda pushing her to the outside, forcing her to recycle. Wanda is on fire today as Spinelli is coming out after scoring 4 points. Nancy still trying to get through, looking for some space, trying to get some offense from one of her teammates. Spinelli has re-engaged the pack again on another scoring pass. Spinelli getting a little bit stuck. Nancy has taken off the star. Might be looking for a pivot to pass it to. Getting around her teammates. Finds that pivot and hands the star to her. So E2 Brute will be, or Brute will be your jammer now for Louisville. Spinelli looking to her bench, just asking, should I call it? And Coach Kent says, yes, go ahead and call it. But not before scoring 8 points for Cornfed, bringing our score of 110 to 97. Oh, serious, we've got Chaos offering to run camera when we go on our road trip.
Execution up against KCDC.
Kayla, you always have the best ideas. Daisy could be our cheer leader or cheer captain. All right, Executioner for Cornfed and KCDC for Louisville. Great defense pushing KCDC to the outside line, forcing them to recycle. Executioner trying to use brute force to push forward. Everybody getting a little bit tangled up there. KCDC trying to spread this pack out. Alexa getting pushed to the outside, forced to recycle. by Carrie A. Glock. KCDC gets out as lead jammer and is now on a scoring pass trying to cut into that lead that Cornfed has established. Star pass has happened. Lexa passed the star to Cosmo Payne, who will now be the jammer for Cornfed. KCDC coming through after picking up 4 points, looks to the bench to see whether or not she should call it, and does call the jam before Cosmo can score any points. Louisville now above that century mark has scored 101 points. They are 9 points behind Cornfed with a little bit over 15 minutes left in this game.
Sweet revenge at the line up against Melody Mayhem. Score on the board is 1-1-0 versus 1-0-1.
Even though this game's almost over, don't forget we have one more game after this. The B teams of the Killer Kernels and the Bourbon Brawlers will be battling it out on this track just a little bit after this game. Melody Mayhem grabbing lead jammer status. Sweet Revenge jamming for Louisville. Getting a little bit tangled up here as Mel comes around on her first scoring pass. She's got a tripod to get through, immediately pushes through and grabs that and breaks apart that tripod and is through for 4 points. Cornfed was able to hold Sweet Revenge in the pack during that, and Sweet Revenge has not gotten out of the pack yet as Melody is coming around on her second scoring pass. Sweet Revenge took that jammer star off. Could be passing it to the pivot. Little bit of a tangle up between, is that Wanda and Amy? Got a little tangled up there. A little bit of a pickle. Oh, that's adorable. E2 is now the jammer after taking a pass, takes a huge hit, and is needing a second to recover as she's recycled. Mel takes that opportunity of confusion to push through to grab another 4 points. E2 trying to find some space, is crawling through the pack right now as Mel comes around on another scoring pass. It's a very physical, pushing game. Mel thought she had it through, realized that one of her feet was out of bounds, is forced to recycle. Lots of people on the ground here as this physical jam is continuing. Mel getting pushed to the inside. E2 getting pushed to the outside. Looking just exhausted. Mel pushed to the inside. She is on the ground and she calls the jam and says, I need a minute. She's okay, just needs a second to get up.
Score on the board, 1-21 to 101 with 15:39.
I like giving Daisy Doom the title of Colonel as well. I think being our Colonel is a good one. Killer Queen is doing fantastic out there. Whew, so good. So much good derby being played by so many people tonight. Spinelli for Cornfed and Smack Harlow for Louisville. Woo. Smack Harlow making it through to get lead jammer. Spinelli pushed to the outside, does a little hop and gets called on a track cut. Spinelli will be headed to the box. This is a power jam for Louisville. This could be a big game changer for Louisville. This is an opportunity for them to cut into that lead that Cornfed has been establishing. But Wanda is coming out of the box, and we all know that Wanda has been on fire tonight. So we'll see what she is able to do to slow down Smack Harlow along with her teammates. I see out there Killer Queen is out there, and Karma and Addie, as Smack Harlow has gotten through for 4 points. These 4 blockers are going to do everything they can to hold Louisville from cutting into that lead. Spinelli is now standing. She is now out of the box. So that lead is now there. Both jammers are out there, but Smack Harlow, when noticing that Spinelli was out, decided to call the jam.
Spinelli and Addie made a little bit of impact there in the fourth turn.
Looks like everybody's okay. We got a little bit of a tangle up happening there. A little bit slow to get back to the benches, but everybody looks okay. 121 to 108. Louisville was able to cut into that lead. Cosmo heading to the line again as jammer for Cornfed, hoping to get lead again, just like they did in that first jam of the half. KCDC jamming for Louisville is grabbing that lead jammer status. Cosmo speeding the pack up a little bit, still trying to get out, trying to find that space. Big hit there to stretch out the pack as KCDC comes in on their first scoring pass. Cosmo pushing their way through is able to get out and will be eligible to score points as they come around. KCDC doing a little hop to the inside, sees Cosmo coming and calls the jam, hoping she was able to get some points before Cosmo was able to score any. And looks like Louisville was able to score 4 points, bringing their total to 112.
Hitting the line for Cornfed, take on Sweet Revenge.
Looks like a timeout has been called by Cornfed. So they're going to take a couple minutes to think about things. As I said earlier, this is Cornfed's home opener. So you will be seeing some more games this season from Cornfed. On March 15th, they will be, or March 16th, Saturday, March 16th, they will be here at the Delaware County Fairgrounds. April 20th is their next home game. And then our favorite tournament, the Small Town Smackdown, will be on June 8th and 9th, which is going to be 2 days of hard-hitting, fast, and fun derby with lots of corny jokes. Daisy Doom has her own cheering section now. I never knew Daisy being retired would mean more Daisy in the stands than Daisy on the... She's so funny. Daisy on the track was always a force to be reckoned with. Daisy in the stands is going to be, I think, an even bigger force to be reckoned with because she's the Colonel. I'm going to have to tell her that later. She's become our Colonel. Okay, that timeout is now ending. Sweet Revenge lining up for Louisville and Ed lining up for Cornfed. Ed pushing as hard as she can. Just has to get past Dave and Buster. Ed is lead jammer as Sweet Revenge gets called on a track cut and will be heading to the box. So this is a power jam for Misadventure. Wait. Nope. Misadventure is also going to the penalty box. So what's going to happen is Misadventure will sit and Sweet Revenge will immediately stand and be released. Misadventure will sit for the exact same amount of time that Sweet Revenge sat. So Misadventure is exiting the box now and will be re-entering. This jam is going to go the full 2 minutes. So we have another minute and 10 seconds for both jammers to try and score as many points as they can. Sweet Revenge is through the pack on her initial, so is Ed. So at this point, both jammers are eligible to score points. Let's see how they do. As Sweet Revenge and Ed have both engaged in the pack, Ed takes a big hit to the inside and is going to be forced to recycle. Sweet Revenge trying to find some space, takes that star off, hands it to Dave and Buster, who is immediately caught by the Cornfed jammers, but offense, great offense there by Dingo Kate My Baby to help Dave and Buster get out of the pack. Ed trying to find some space, is able to do so and gets out with 4 points of her own. Dave and Buster through the pack for 4 points. Misadventure coming in to try and respond. Just has to get past one Louisville blocker. Is able to do so for 4 points for Cornfed. Dave and Buster trying to respond. I think Dave and Buster got everybody's point except Cosmo's in that one. Whew, this game is getting closer here. Louisville was able to score 9 points to Cornfed's 8. Bringing that score within 8 points with 10 minutes left in this game. Bona's new haircut is fire. Bona is one of our NSOs and recently chopped off her hair and she looks gorgeous. I don't think Sirius is that good with the cameras to immediately find her and show off her new haircut. Melody getting lead jammer. And a big tumble up by a lot of different people over on in between turn 1 and turn 2. A whistle being blown and a penalty being called on Smack Harlow, which makes this a power jam for Cornfed and Melody Mayhem who is your lead jammer. French clearing out some space on the inside line for Melody to pick up 4 points. Melody trying to take advantage of this power jam while Smack Harlow sits in the penalty box, asking for some help from her team, taking a hit to the outside. And Smack Harlow is standing, but not before Melody can grab those 4 points for Cornfed. Smack Harlow back in the pack. Rogue immediately using some great booty blocking just to do some single blocking and bringing her to the pack, who is going to try and slow her down. Melody getting pushed to the inside. She sweeps everybody to the outside, looking for some offense from Rogue here. Smack Harlow being held by Cornfed blockers in the back as Melody is trying to stretch this pack out. Rogue is trying to break this pack apart. Melody is getting less and less blockers that she needs to get around and is able to get through for those 4 points. Smack Harlow has the star off, but still in her hand. Might be looking for a pivot. It always confuses blockers a little bit when you take that star off because they have to watch both the jammer and the pivot, because it's just hard to watch skates and heads and hands all at the same time. So it's always a good strategy. If you're not lead, take off that hat and let people be a little bit confused. Smack Harlow does pass the star to Nancy, who is now the jammer, but the jam has ended with 8 minutes left in this game. Cornfed was able to score a lot of points there thanks to Melody Mayhem and the fantastic blockers that were blocking during that. 144 to 121. Aw, KTG, love that you stay for the puns. We're a very punny channel here, and we're always down for a good pun. Oh, the crowd is cheering as Spinelli grabs lead jammer status quickly. KCDC just needs to get past Killer Queen and Cosmo and Ivy. They have to let her go as Spinelli approaches the pack and everybody is on the ground, and Spinelli is able to get past everybody to grab those 4 points. KCDC approaching the pack on a scoring pass. Spinelli looks like she's gonna let this one run and is gonna let KCDC try and score some points. KCDC finds some space on the inside and grabs 4 points. Spinelli coming in the pack hot, took a little spill, but got back up and was able to get out to score 4 more points. KCDC approaching the pack again, but Spinelli calls the jam before, I think Louisville were they able to still? Nope, they weren't able to score any more points, but they did score 4. So 125 to 152, Cornfed in the lead. They're really starting to stretch that lead out a little bit. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and right here on YouTube. We are getting close to that 500 mark and would love to have more subscribers to Derby Date Night. Alexecutioner jamming for Cornfed. Sweet Revenge for Louisville. Alexecutioner out quickly with that lead jammer status. Cornfed really getting some momentum going here as Alexecutioner's coming around on her first scoring pass. Sweet Revenge trying to take the inside line, is unable to do so. Alexecutioner coming in hot and getting pushed to the outside. Lexa taking a minute to figure out a good strategy, is trying to get through the pack as Sweet Revenge gets out. Will be eligible to score points as she comes around on her first scoring pass. Alexecutioner is now through the pack for 4 points. Sweet Revenge is on a scoring pass right now and trying to get through the pack, has taken the star off, has handed it to the pivot, Harlot O'Hara, who will now be the jammer for Louisville. I don't know if the hat was on, so Harlot may not have gotten all 4 points there, because if that jammer was not on Harlot's head when she went past Cornfed blockers, then she would not be able to score any points. So I'm not sure if they were able to get any points there because they did make it through the pack. I'm guessing that's what the official review is being called about right now. Louisville is calling an official review, and I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to get some points there. But in my opinion, I'm kind of far away from it, but it looked to me like hat was taken off before she passed any Cornfed blockers, and then Harlot didn't put the hat back on until after she had gotten through the pack, which means even though it was a scoring pass, no points would have been scored because you have to be upright and wearing the star in order to score points. I am not a ref, though, so they get to make the decision and make that and decide, and then whichever team is not happy can be upset at the refs and not me. Because I'm not a ref, I'm just a fan. Don't forget, we have one more game, and if it's anything like the game at Small Town Smackdown, it's going to be another nail-biter. These two teams are very, very well matched, and it's really just so fun to see. I also know that Cornfed has 5 brand new skaters skating in this next game, and Louisville has 7 new skaters skating in this next game. So there will be a lot of skaters who are skating for the first time in an official game, and we are excited to support them and cheer them on as they skate in their first games. I have a request if you can see the penalty box at all so we can see Bona's new haircut, Sirius. He's saying I only get the camera shots that I get. If he gets one, he'll try to show Bona's haircut. It's just delightful. She is in the penalty box though. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Sirius. Look at that. Now we can all admire Bona's new haircut. This official review was brought to you by Bona's Awesome Hair. It's hairy exciting. And now we are getting a shout out, and people are excited that we're here. And so if you are tuning in from within the Fairgrounds, don't forget to shout us out and like and subscribe. Yes, all of you in the chat also got shouted out. If we get shouted out, you also get shouted out because you're here with us on this journey. I love date nights with this many people. It's fun. It's like we're at the bar and we're having dinner with our friends. It's a great date night, coming out for some roller derby, chatting with our friends.
It's all about bribery. That has nothing to do with anything else but bribery. You throw that money in there, they win. It's that simple.
And that is our house announcer, Macabre, who announces pretty much all of the Cornfed home games ever since, at least before I was a skater, because my very first game, I remember him announcing when I went to the jammer line for the first time, which I never ever did, and he said, "Are you kidding me?" Because he was so surprised to see me on the jammer line, and I don't think he saw me there very much again, because I was usually a pivot. But Macabre is a great announcer, and we love having him here supporting our team, and I've seen him announce some of the Circle City games too. So he's definitely around the derby circuit.
We'll have a ruling here on the official review. What was the nature
All
of
right.
the official review?
We're going to find out what happened with the official review.
Louisville had requested that the penalty against
Oh, it
black skater,
looks like
otherwise known as French,
looks like it was not about the points.
after review,
They were
will not be upgraded.
They were asking for the penalty on number 9, French, to be upgraded from a penalty to an expulsion. After review, the officials decided that it would not be upgraded to an expulsion and it would remain a penalty. I was more excited to show off my derby knowledge about the points, honestly. I was hoping it was about the points, but yeah, it should have been about the points because then I would have looked real smart. But instead it was about something I never even saw because I don't know what the hit looked like and have no commentary on that as someone who has been expelled before. Spinelli getting lead jammer very quickly there. Danger Pickle is out about half a lap behind Spinelli. This is going to be a fast jam as everybody is speeding up. French is standing and will be re-entering from the penalty box. Danger Pickle hitting the pack real hard, getting forced to recycle. Spinelli trying to pull the pack apart in the front, getting pushed to the inside. Danger Pickle trying to find some space, just needs to get past Cosmo and gets pushed to the outside, but Cosmo was unable to stay inbounds, so Danger Pickle was able to re-enter. The jam is called. Louisville getting 4 points, Cornfed getting 3.
Big Game 3. Spinelli got 3.
Less than 5 minutes left in this half, and we will be taking a short break after this to get ready for game number 2, where I will be joined by Melody Mayhem, who is one of the jammers you've been seeing a lot in this game, as my co-announcer for the second game. Speaking of, she's lining up right now as the jammer for Cornfed and grabbing lead jammer. She said, I'm so excited to announce with Aria that I'm just going to grab lead jammer here. KCDC trying to find space, trying to tiptoe along that inside line as Melody comes around on her first scoring pass. Gets slowed down a little bit as KCDC has stretched the pack out in the front and is able to get out and will be on a scoring pass when she comes back around. Mel, noticing that she's coming, decides to call the jam. And looks like she was able to grab 3 points in that jam. So kind of low-scoring jams the past couple jams. You know, I mean, just chipping away at that lead is fine. All jams don't need to be 15, 20 points, which that's great, helps you with your lead, but it's just as effective to have a bunch of short jams that score just a few points. This game was so aggressive and there was so much happening with the first half. It's definitely slowed down a little bit in the second half. You can definitely see this is the first game. Oh, Spinelli grabbing lead jammer there. But the endurance is definitely showing as this is the first game of the season for both teams. So, you know, it's not surprising that teams are looking a little bit tired. They have put it all out there. Beautiful apex jump from Spinelli to grab 4 points. Nancy coming behind is eligible to score points and will be scoring a few, not sure how many, as Spinelli comes around on her second scoring pass, breaking apart that pack and is through for another 4 points. Nancy taking that star off, looking for a pivot to pass it to. Spinelli coming in on her third scoring pass. Nancy is headed to the box and will be sitting in the box for 30 seconds. Spinelli spinning around to grab another 4 points. This crowd is excited and they are cheering so loud. Just a little bit over 2 minutes left in this game. Spinelli coming around on her fourth scoring pass, asking for some offense from her team, dancing along that inside line as the Louisville blockers are forming around her, trying to pull them apart as much as she can. Nancy is standing in the box. Spinelli grabbing 4 more points to bring that total for this jam to 16. The score is 180 to 129 as Nancy comes out of the box. Spinelli coming around on a 5th scoring pass. Push to the inside, decides to call the jam. Beautiful. That was, whoo! Louisville scoring 4 points in that jam to Cornfed's 18. So much Ellie love in the chat. That apex jump was beautiful. All the spins, all the toe stops, just gorgeous. Chef's kiss.
49 points separate these 2 teams.
If only Ellie had a cooking pun as her name, Chef's kiss would be even better. I need to announce for Team Indiana and Bona so I can say Chef's kiss at some point. Make that happen, people. Melody jamming for Cornfed. Sweet Revenge for Louisville. Both jammers trying to find space. Both jammers getting pushed to the outside. Mel a little bit further ahead. Mel going down on the outside. Sweet Revenge needing to get past Rogue. Spreading that pack out. Needing to get past B. Is called lead jammer. Beautiful waterfall happening there with the Cornfed blockers, but Sweet Revenge was able to pull them apart and get out as lead jammer. Mel is out and will be eligible to score points as she comes around. Sweet Revenge on her first scoring pass. Gonna need to get past these Cornfed blockers who have formed a beautiful wall with 14 seconds left in this game. This could be the last jam. Mel is through for 4 points. Sweet Revenge getting pushed to the outside. 5 seconds left. Sweet Revenge trying to find some space, looking pretty slow. 0 seconds on the clock. The jam can continue. This will be the last jam of the game as Mel is coming back in to score some more points. Getting pushed to the outside is through for 4 points there. Sweet Revenge has that star off with 37 seconds left. Melody does. Everybody is on the ground. Everybody's looking tired with less than 30 seconds left in this game. Melody just kind of sailing through here, getting a little bit of a push that just the energy and physics of it pushed her to the inside. So she's going to recycle with 17 seconds left. The star was passed, and a penalty has been called on a Cornfed blocker. E2 Brute is now the jammer for Louisville, and 5 seconds left in this jam. Looks like we are going to have a win for Cornfed. 194 to 136. Unofficial score. What a fun game. We love having our friends from Louisville here. Cornfed excited to be winning their home opener. We will be taking a short break, and we will be back with a whole nother game all over again, Louisville and Cornfed, except for this time it'll be the Louisville Bourbon Brawlers versus the Cornfed Killer Kernels, which is a new name for the B team this year. We are excited to be here streaming for you. Derby date night. Stick around for our second game. Please like and subscribe. We're so glad to be back bringing you some great Derby. Thanks for all your participation in the chat. We love you all, and we'll be back in just a little bit. to Derby Date Night. We are here live for the home opener of Cornfed Roller Derby. We just finished our first game of the night with Cornfed Roller Derby All-Stars coming out victorious against Louisville Roller Derby All-Stars. It was a nail-biter of a game with lots of lead changes, hard hits, and spin moves. You are now joining us for our second game of the night. Cornfed Killer Kernels will be taking on Louisville's Bourbon Brawlers. While our game earlier today was a competitive sanctioned game, this second game is a B-level game, which means we may see some newer skaters or skaters trying out positions they are not as used to. Don't be fooled though, this will still be a very competitive game as these two teams are tough and come ready to win. This should be a very exciting matchup. Last June at Small Town Smackdown, the B teams of Cornfed and Louisville played each other in a nail-biter matchup. Cornfed came out on top, but just barely. Only 13 points separated the two teams at the end. I'm sure Louisville has come back today determined to turn the tables on the home favorites. Cornfed sure isn't going to make it an easy task. Stick around for what is sure to be an exciting game. I also had a little birdie tell me we have a lot of skaters who are skating in their very first game ever. So a super, super great welcome to their very first game today. We have got for Cornfed, Reese's Pieces, number 113, in their first game. Another first game skater is Orville Shreddenblocker, number 219. Alpha Toradozer, number 517, also playing in their first game. And Barbarian 542 also playing in their very first game. Last but not least for Cornfed, we've got Ultra Ego playing in their first game. Congrats to all these new skaters playing in their very first games. On the Louisville team, we also have some brand new skaters. We've got number 1080 Carla Wambulance, 206 Sureblock Bones, 404 Scrumbag, and there's a few more who are newer, not very first game, but it's very exciting that all of these teams have these brand new skaters that they are bringing out to showcase and play in their very first game. Super exciting to have all these new skaters. That whistle means we just have a little bit before we get started with our second game of the night. I see Little Addie Adderall lining up for Cornfed and Phoenix lining up for the Bourbon Brawlers. Addie finding some space on the outside, quickly establishing lead jammer. Phoenix trying to get through. Passes the star to Rita and Weep, who will now be the jammer for Louisville. Addie on a scoring pass, able to score points, looking for some offensive help, getting pushed to the outside as Rita and Weep comes through on her first scoring pass. Addie will call the jam to prevent Rita from scoring any points. Although it looks like Addie was not able to score any points either, so we are at a 0-0 right now. Ultra Ego lining up for Killer Kernels and Trixie Heldon for the Bourbon Brawlers. Ultra Ego in her first game ever is also your lead jammer in her first jam of her first game. Great job, Ultra Ego. Trixie Heldon pushed to the outside is going to be forced to recycle as Ultra Ego is coming around on her first scoring pass. Trixie has the jammer star off and might be looking for a pivot to pass it to. Ultra Ego getting a little tangled up in the pack here. Is trying to push that pack apart, looking for some space, getting pushed to the inside as Trixie was able to get through and will be coming around now on a scoring pass. Ultra Ego sees Trixie coming and calls the jam before Trixie can score any points, but not before Ego scored 3 points for Cornfed. First 3 points for Ultra Ego. For those of you just joining us, don't forget to like and subscribe to Derby Date Night. We try to bring you some of the best live roller derby in central Indiana and beyond. We are very close to 500 subscribers, and we would love to hit that number, so please subscribe and tell your friends. All right, B squared coming out quickly with lead jammer status for Cornfed. Bourbon Brawlers, we've got Descriptive Vixen jamming. B is trying to push through that pack and is out. Has scored 4 points for Cornfed. Descriptive Vixen still pushing their way through. Has that jammer star off. Might be thinking about passing it. And does pass it. Linsane Asylum will now be the jammer of record for the Bourbon Brawlers. Getting some offensive help from one of the other skaters who unfortunately is headed to the box as B comes around on a scoring pass. Alexecutioner holding Linsane Asylum, forcing them to recycle and keeping them from making much progress as B comes through on another scoring pass to pick up 4 more points for Cornfed, bringing the total to 15. Linsane Asylum trying to get through, has a little bit of a twist up there, but is able to get out. And as B squared sails through for another 4 points. And B will call the jam before any points can be scored by the Bourbon Brawlers. All right, we are at 19 for Cornfed. Louisville's going to be trying to get on the board here. We've got Little Addy Adderall for Killer Kernels and Glitterous for Bourbon Brawlers. Glit getting out quickly with a lead jammer status, but Addy is about half a track behind and will be chasing Glit down. Addy looking to do a little bit of a jump, getting a little tripped up there. And we are going to take a short time out for an injury. All right, we are back. It was a little bit of a hard hit there on Adderall, but she was able, you can kind of see her on the side of the screen walking off. So she's going to take a little bit of time with our medics. We've got some great medics tonight. Kellen and Bomber are going to take really good care of her. We are really lucky to have medics with us who really help keep our skaters safe and take care of anything that happens immediately and with urgency. I've also got our MVP jammer from the last game, Melody Mayhem, here with me, who's going to be helping with some of the announcing tonight.
Hey, guys.
We're excited to have her after her big victory.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
All right, that whistle means it's 30 seconds until the jam starts, but everybody was very excited to get going there.
It happens to all of us.
We
does. Just get in the zone and we're like, great, let's do it.
We're ready. Everybody's ready to get back to Derby here. We've got Ultra Ego lining up for Cornfed and Phoenix for Bourbon Brawlers. Phoenix trying to find some space on the outside, is able to do so and is lead jammer for Bourbon Brawlers. Ego also able to get through, is going to be about half a track behind. Phoenix approaching the pack on their first scoring pass, is trying to find some space. Ego coming through on their first scoring pass. Phoenix sees Ego and calls the jam, keeping Cornfed from scoring any points. Our lead Kernel, Daisy Doom. We decided, just so you know, Mel, we named her Kernel during the last game because she is our cheerleader and biggest fan, our alumni skater, who is now our cheering Kernel.
I really tried to get her to skate just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer.
All right, Misadventure for Killer Kernels and Descriptive Vixen for Bourbon Brawlers. Misadventure getting a quick lead jammer on the inside line. Descriptive Vixen looking to find some space and does not, is instead going to be headed to the penalty box. Misadventure sailing through on the inside, getting some offensive help there. Sure. That penalty was actually not on Descriptive Vixen, it was on the pivot, but Descriptive Vixen is now out and will be coming around on a scoring pass. Ed has scored 4 points and will be calling the jam before Bourbon Brawlers can score anything. And that pivot is still in the box. Did you notice what that penalty was for, Mel?
Oh, yes, that was a back block.
Thank you.
And that's 1-8 Smack.
Smack Carlo.
Smack Harlow. Yes, thank you.
Who we saw jamming a little bit in the last game, I think.
Yeah, we got to jam a lot together. It was a lot of fun.
Barbarian jamming for Killer Kernels, brand new skater. First jam of the first game. Barbarian trying to get that lead jammer status, is needing to be let go, but is called on a, nope.
There's
some confusion out on the track right now.
Yes, there is confusion. This is Barb's first
game.
First game.
And I think Barb called lead jammer and thought it was a penalty, but the ref is telling Barbarian, no, it's okay, go ahead, you are lead jammer. Trixie Heldon is behind about half a track. A little bit of a dust up there as Barbarian and Trixie are both in the pack. Trixie is able to get through to pick up 4 points. Barbarian is lead jammer. Her team is telling her to call it. She is hitting her hips and is calling the jam. 4 points scored by the Bourbon Brawlers in that jam. Two points from the Killer Kernels. As I said earlier, this is a lot of skaters' first game ever. And so, as I've said, with B games, sometimes it takes a little while to get used to the way things work, especially with all of these people and crowds and whistles. And at practice, you usually only have maybe 1 or 2 referees. You're not used to all of these referees, which we have, how many?
There are 7 on there. We are in an official review called by Louisville.
So we have 7 on skates officials. Do you know how many off skates officials it takes to do a game?
Oh, yes. Okay. So I counted this out, but I got to count it out. Okay. So there's 3 at the score. There's 3 at the penalty box. You have your jam timer. We have a penalty wrangler, and we have 2 penalty lineup trackers. So 10.
10. So that's 17 officials that are out there volunteering their time to roller derby, and we appreciate them so much.
It's my retirement plan. This is my last season skating, and then I'm gonna keep on.
I mentioned that you are a official. I did not mention that you were retiring because I didn't know if you wanted people to know. But
oh yeah, it's not been a secret. It's not been a secret that I am retiring.
And seriously is very upset and shocked. So I guess I never bothered to tell my husband, but this is how he finds out.
That's okay. Well, because my husband also officiates, and our kids are getting older, and our kids want to participate in things. So it's time to just be mom. So yeah.
I like that. That's always good to focus on being mom, and then you and I can still do derby stuff even though we're not playing anymore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You don't have to go to practice.
I kept guessing, and not going to practice is a good. That's true. So I was guessing during the last game what the official reviews were about.
Oh, okay.
And did you see anything here that you think might be official reviewable?
Possibly a track cut. The black jammer possibly could have had a track cut over on turn 3, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, we're kind of far away from turn 3, so
yes.
We'll have to see. During the last game, I was guessing that the official review was about something completely different because I thought it was.
Oh, I was in those. I could tell you what they were.
I thought that the second one was because they wanted the points from when the Star Pass happened and there were no points. Oh, Macabre is enjoying this the music that you can't hear, obviously, because of copyright reasons, but he's enjoying our music. And, Mel's husband and our head ref, Shotgun Mike, is coming over to Macabre and stopping his beautiful Night at the Roxbury dancing that he was doing.
That was very Night at the Roxbury.
It was 100% Night at the Roxbury. But I'm hoping that head ref, Shotgun Mike over there, went to Macabre to tell him what the official review was about so that we will find out.
Yes, that's probably more than likely what he's doing. And if you are watching, so Shotgun is our head ref for our league. He is an alternate ref for this game. That's why he's not in his stripes. And Richie Cranium is the head ref for this game.
He's all grown up. He's head reffing now. I remember when Richie was just learning how to be a ref.
Me too. I do believe that Richie is a tournament head ref.
For the Cactus Cup?
Not for the Cactus Cup. I think it's for Dumpster Fire.
Nice.
If he's not THRing, I think he's crew heading. I overheard. I didn't get it directly from the horse's mouth. So he's going to Dumpster Fire, but I don't know what his role is.
Well, while we're here, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe. Mel, do you remember when we were, oh my gosh, we just passed over 440, just so you know, earlier this week. I know, yes. Because last time we were announcing together, I think we were trying to get to 100.
Yes.
And now I think I'm not sure exactly how many subscribers we have now because I've been trying to get people to subscribe, but we're getting closer to 500. That's our goal.
I should check to make sure I have subscribed.
Melody.
Well, and
you are no longer allowed to announce on this channel until you have subscribed.
Well, and then I need to check my other email. So, like, I've had the email from my maiden name forever, and then I got another email with my married name.
This one's kind of fun.
And then maybe I could use my school one, too. That'd be 3 right there. I'm pretty sure one of them is liked and subscribing.
This is a long official review, but I think we're doing great with keeping people entertained. Double whammy official review. Yep. You were right, Mel. White requested a track cut on the jammer. And but the officials decided on something else. The white jammer also received a penalty during that official review. So it is a double power jam with no jammers starting, and neither can receive lead jammer. So
yes, they can.
Okay, they can receive lead jammer because they're both just starting in the box.
Yes. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
A double penalty.
And they both got released.
The jammer line is the penalty box. So they both have been released because they both sit for the same amount of time.
Correct.
Okay, Barbarian getting pushed to the outside, forced to recycle. Glit is through as lead jammer.
No, no pass, no penalty. So lead is still open.
Okay, lead jammer is now Barbarian. So this is
and they're telling her to call.
And Barbarian will immediately call the jam. Wow. So talk about no pass, no penalty and why that happened.
So a no pass, no penalty. When the jammer is on their initial pass, if they get out, so let's say the blocker gets hits them out and then also steps out, the jammer can go right back in, and that's a no pass, no penalty, and so they're not eligible for lead jam.
Oh, look, Juke told us that it is 455. That's amazing. We have 455 subscribers. I love it.
Hi, Juke.
Ultra Ego is jamming for Killer Kernels, and Phoenix for Bourbon Brawlers. Ultra Ego out again as lead jammer. I love seeing, I talked about how Ultra Ego is also a new skater.
Yes.
Ultra Ego and Phoenix are both approaching the pack at the same time. Ultra Ego got shut down and pushed to the inside while Phoenix was able to get through.
Ultra Ego
Ultra Ego is now through and calls the jam after
getting 4
scoring
points.
4 points. So that was neutral 4-4.
Should have brought my earplugs today. The house is excited.
My Apple Watch has told me multiple times that the sound level is high. It's been like, you are in a noisy environment.
That happens at roller derby.
Lining up on the Cornfed line is Debbie Darko, number 28. You can see there, captain for the Killer Kernels this season. Very excited to see her in that captain role.
Me too.
B squared, finding some space on the outside, grabbing that lead jammer status. Glitterous jamming for the Bourbon Brawlers, just has to get past Misadventure, takes a hit, takes another hit, but recovers and gets up as B squared comes in on her first scoring pass. A hit on 216 is going to send B squared to the box. I know that was a back block melody. I saw that.
You got it.
I am getting better at being able to identify those. That will be a power jam now for Glitterous, and since B was lead jammer, that means that this jam will go the full 2 minutes because no one can call this jam off.
Oh, 2-minute jams.
2 minute jams. You had a few of those in that last game.
Yeah, I was told to run it.
All right, Glitterous is through for 4 points as B sits and waits in the penalty box to be able to come out and start scoring some points of her own. Glitterous is approaching the pack, which has stopped, and is trying to get some help from, it looks like, Rita and Weep, who's trying to open a space. Glitterous is almost out, and Misadventure catches her and passes and sends her to the back of the pack as B is back in the pack and is now re-engaged, sees the space on the inside and takes it, picking up 4 points. Penalty is called on Ziggy for something, and she is sent to the penalty box. Glit is through for 4 points as B follows behind her for 4 more points.
Oh, Ziggy was sent on a direction.
On a direction, thank you.
And
I saw the signal, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Direction.
All right, Glitter and B are both approaching the pack at the same time. Penalty called on Misadventure for a multiplayer, it looks like. So the Cornfed box is getting a little bit fuller as Glitter and B are both through for 4 points. They are just matching each other. 4 points here for one, 4 points for the other.
And sometimes that's just how it goes.
Yep, lots of points for everybody.
Especially a good strategy for jammers if you have friends in the box. And if you can keep scoring points, just keep going. That's why I had a lot of long jams to get some friends out of the box.
Exactly.
Tracking back to 2-8 with Debbie, she is our original, one of our last original members of Cornfed when we were established in 2010.
And she's still skating.
Still skating.
Lavender Menace jamming for Killer Kernels against Descriptive Vixen for Bourbon Brawlers. Lavender Menace, I don't remember them jamming very much last season. I wonder if that's a new role. Descriptive Vixen will be your lead jammer. Lavender Menace also getting out of the pack and racing to catch up with Descriptive Vixen, who is on their first scoring pass and is through for 4 points. Here comes Lavender Menace, and Descriptive Vixen will call the jam before Lavender is able to score any points.
That was a lot of penalties at once. That's why I was paying attention. So Alexecutioner went for blocking out of play, and the pivot for Louisville went for a high block.
So are we starting down a few skaters in this next jam?
Both teams, yes.
Yeah, both teams looks like have people in the penalty box. Cornfed has 2 and Bourbon Brawlers have 1. Ultra Ego jamming for Killer Kernels, and Bourbon Brawlers is Phoenix. Lead jammer is open. Ultra Ego finding space on the outside to get around and grab that lead jammer status. Phoenix is going to chase Ego down, and Ego says, "Nah, let's just call the jam. Little too close for comfort."
I support that. You know, when I was a baby jammer, I like to play it a little safe.
Yes.
And I do believe Ego was paying attention to her coaches.
I think so too.
Oh, Ziggy is on the line.
Ziggy is on the line for Cornfed after just rejoining the team again a few weeks ago.
It's so nice to have her back.
The jam started, but the pivot was not on the track and did not have the pivot helmet on. Ziggy is headed to the penalty box. I don't know what happened there, but Trixie Heldon is the lead jammer. Ziggy's back in, so Ziggy was not headed to the penalty box and takes advantage of the confusion to dash through to grab. Okay. Trixie Heldon is still lead jammer and is just gotten 4 points. Ziggy is approaching the pack for the first time on a scoring pass. Trixie calls the jam and okay, Mel, help me with what happened at the beginning of that jam.
There was a lot of whistles at the very beginning?
Well, okay, there's a timeout, so you have time to explain this. Oh, an official review. Nope, change to a timeout. Serious. Get with the picture. You keep saying official review, timeout. You need to choose which signal you're showing me.
Okay, how many of you know?
Oh, Mel, you'll love it. There was a point earlier where Sirius was trying to give me direction, and I literally pushed him away because I knew what he was saying, and I don't think he's ever, as a producer, had one of the talent push him. So I think it's different when you run something together with your spouse. I don't think usually...
for most of his gigs, the talent is not his spouse.
Right. When the talent is your spouse, you kind of shove them away when you don't want to listen.
Speaking of working with your spouses, it was a little odd going in and calling an official review with my spouse as the head ref.
Yeah, that had to have been weird.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We're supposed to be talking about Derby. So what?
We are talking about Derby, just in a different way.
So Reese's Pieces had the
pivot helmet cover.
And was headed towards the line, but the whistle blew to start the jam before they were able to get on the track.
Correct.
And then what happened?
They were called back to their bench, and now my brain is like...
but then they stayed out and played.
I'm pretty sure they got called back to their bench because they were not in position. That's not a false start. So they should have returned back to the bench.
And now they are in the penalty box as the pivot. So that must have been what the official review was that the penalty, because they played the jam. Glitterous is lead jammer for Bourbon Brawlers.
I'm going to say yes because Mike ran out as soon as that was over. Yeah. So I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. Ultra Ego is also out there jamming. Glitterous called the jam off as Ultra Ego was approaching the pack. And it looks like Ultra Ego was not able to steal any points, and Bourbon Brawlers were able to score 3, bringing this game to within 4 points.
I'm looking at how the refs are lined up on the inside. I said that Richie Cranium is the head ref, and I should have paid attention when they had an official review.
Oh, he's not?
Because Croc is in the rear IPR, and that's usually the head ref position.
Well, we'll give them both credit for being great refs. Descriptive Vixen is a lead jammer very quickly. Ziggy Zig Ah jamming for the Killer Kernels is able to get out and will be chasing down Descriptive Vixen. Descriptive Vixen approaching the pack on their first scoring pass as Ziggy is racing to catch up with the pack, which is not going super slow right now. Descriptive Vixen trying to get out. Just needs to get past Goldie, is able to do so to grab 4 points and call the jam before Ziggy is able to get through and score any points. The game is now tied with 13 minutes left in the first half. Very exciting to have a tie. The first game was close. The second game is going to be close. We're just going to have fun. Juke is asking if Amy and Rogue are wearing matching flannels as the coaches.
They are.
Oh,
and
that's
they are
adorable.
also wearing yellow tops.
Oh,
and
that's so
Rogue
cute.
at least has green pants on so she can be a corn cob.
I love matching outfits. And there being a corn cob, that's adorable. Coaches dressing as corn cobs. It's amazing. This is why I love Cornfed.
We have a lot of fun.
Barbarian jamming for Killer Kernels and Phoenix jamming for the Bourbon Brawlers. Barbarian just needing to get past one more Louisville blocker who got called for a directional and had to let Barbarian go, which left Barbarian with that lead jammer status. Phoenix is now out about 3/4 of a track behind Barbarian, who is approaching the pack on their first scoring pass, looking to grab some points as Phoenix is hitting the pack as well, trying to score some points. Barbarian just needed to get past the pivot, calls the jam from the ground after picking up 3 points for Cornfed.
All right. Did you happen to notice the group of spectators all in ref jerseys?
I did, and I talked to them during halftime of the last game.
Okay.
They are here for
Biz.
Biz, and they are excited to be here all the way from Texas, supporting Biz in their reffing journey.
Oh my gosh.
I just love it.
We can talk more about it after this jam.
B Squared jamming for Killer Kernels and Trixie Heldon for Bourbon Brawlers. B Squared is your lead jammer for Cornfed. Sailing out of the pack, Trixie Heldon has that jammer hat off and hands it to, I think, Rita and Weep, who will now be the jammer for the Bourbon Brawlers. B Squared gets through for 4 points and calls that jam off after scoring 4 points, which will go unanswered by Bourbon Brawlers.
Miss Ed Adventure is headed to the box on a track cut. So the ref jersey. So Biz is a new ref. She used to play in Texas and moved up here for work and has ventured into the reffing world.
I love that. That's wonderful to hear about. Oh, looks like Cornfed realized they had too many skaters on the track. Lavender Menace had the pivot hat on and is getting rid of it. Glitterous is your lead jammer for Bourbon Brawlers, and Ultra Ego trying to get out. Just needs to get past Mally Brews Barbie, who former junior skater, who is holding Ultra Ego very well and is just currently recycling them as Glitterous has gone through on their first scoring pass to score 4 points for Bourbon Brawlers, tying this game again. Ultra Ego is now out as Glitterous is on another scoring pass. Ultra Ego approaching, and this is a lead change. Bourbon Brawlers now in the lead, 57-53.
Okay, sorry. I am like a shiny squirrel over here. Ivy Brusinia has these silver glitter boots, and they're shiny. She's over here at track repair, and my eyes are lasered on them.
Barbarian jamming for Killer Kernels and Descriptive Vixen for Bourbon Brawlers. Barbarian using brute force just to get through the pack to grab that lead jammer status. Descriptive Vixen is trying to get out, has to get past Goldie, takes a hit to the inside, and is slowed down as Barbarian is sailing through the pack to score 4 points, which means that we have another tie. And Barbarian calls the jam with a little bit over 8 minutes left.
Alexecutioner had some beautiful offense on the outside for Barb to get all around.
Barb is clearly very strong.
Very strong. So
really
I remember when we
watching
started doing contact, and the first time I got hit by Barb, I was like, whoa. So Barb is very strong.
I know that I said earlier that today is Barb's first game, but it's interesting because we don't have refs that often at practice, and every time Barb has been called lead jammer, she looks at the ref because I think she's been trained very well to pay attention to penalties. And so she's like, penalty? No, I'm lead. Okay, I'm going. Glitterous is your lead jammer for Bourbon Brawlers. B Squared is right behind for Cornfed. Glitterous calls it before B can score any points, but I don't know. Yep, Glitterous was able to grab a couple points.
Yeah, they were able to get 1 point, and then they got the penalty box point. So, yeah, sometimes we don't have a lot of officials at night. If I'm at practice, Mike can't come. We got the kids. But we're used to hearing your color is lead instead of hearing whistles.
Yep. It takes a while to get used. I mean, your first game, there was whistles everywhere, and a lead jammer whistle is very similar to a penalty whistle. So it's kind of like, wait, I heard a whistle. What does that mean? So it takes a little bit to get used to it. Ultra Ego finding space on the outside to grab lead jammer status. Phoenix jamming for Bourbon Brawlers is trying to find some space, but is going to have to get past Misadventure and is able to do so as Ultra Ego approaches the pack on her first scoring pass and just marches right through to grab 4 points. Ego looking at the bench, and she is being told to run it. So Phoenix is approaching the pack as Ultra Ego is going to let Phoenix try and score some points. Ultra Ego is going to try to get through here and is able to grab 4 points. Phoenix taking a big hit, getting slowed down, getting swallowed up by Ed, and Goldie is able to get through for 4 points as Ego is approaching the pack again to try and grab 4 more points, is through for those 4 points, gets knocked down, decides to call the jam.
You know, with Bourbon being her first season, she didn't get to practice a lot with our whistles leading up to our first jam. She got cleared yesterday from her doctor after an injury. So she's been off skates for a while. And she's been at practice, but it's different when you're when you're doing it at practice versus
so she just
observing
got called
it.
yesterday and hasn't played for a little while.
Yes.
Wow, great job. Great job by Barbarian. Barbarian, speaking of, jamming for Killer Kernels, and Trixie Heldon for Bourbon Brawlers.
Told you, she's a beast.
Nice job by Barbarian, lead jammer. Trixie Heldon is trying to get through after being forced to recycle, finds that space, just has to get past Lavender Menace, who's doing some great one-on-one blocking there to slow Trixie down as Barbarian is getting pushed to the inside on her first scoring pass. Barbarian is trying to get through and calls the jam before Trixie Heldon can come in and score points. This is a 6-point game.
Oh, thank you, Boggs. Yes, if you hadn't noticed, little Addie Adderall is back out on the track after her injury.
It's always good to see skaters who go out early for an injury come back in and skate again because you know everything's okay.
Yes.
Also, I told Addie I was going to have a hard time saying little Addie Adderall, but I've been doing well so far.
I had to read it.
B Squared jamming for Killer Kernels and Glitterous for Bourbon Brawlers. With a G, people, glitter. B is your lead jammer for Killer Kernels. Going to try to extend that lead a little bit as we are approaching the end of the first half. This has been a really exciting, close game.
Dom has asked, where is my girl Smack Harlow? Dom, I'm going to guess Smack got in a little bit of penalty trouble, so we're just probably taking a little breather. I would assume
B is
Smack
through
will be back
for
out.
4 points for Cornfed and is watching as Louisville was approaching the pack and called that jam off before. Oh, they did score some points, though. It looks like Bourbon Brawlers got 3 points in that jam to Killer Kernels 4 points. Since I haven't said it in a while, if you are joining us for the first time, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are really working on growing our community, and we really enjoy bringing you live roller derby from Central Indiana and maybe someday beyond.
Oh, man, I want to travel. Can we get an RV?
Oh, I was talking about it during the last. We're going to take camera people with us. So if you want to come and be part of our crew, we're going to figure out a road trip at some point. Ultra Ego grabbing that lead jammer status for Killer Kernels. Descriptive Vixen is trying to find some space for the Bourbon Brawlers to get through as Ultra Ego is coming around on her first scoring pass. Descriptive Vixen getting pushed to the inside, forced to recycle. Descriptive Vixen sailing through for 4 points for Cornfed. Descriptive Vixen is just not finding any space, but is able to right there. So Ultra Ego coming in on another scoring pass. Little bit of a tumble everybody's taking. Ultra Ego.
Ego got a high block, so is heading to the penalty box.
Is in the penalty box, which means this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
Power jam, 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 jam.
All right. Descriptive Vixen was able to get through and will be jamming for a little while longer without anyone else jamming. So an opportunity to grab some points here for the Bourbon Brawlers. Takes a big hit from Ziggy Zig Ah as Ultra Ego is standing in the penalty box, is out of the penalty box. There are now 2 jammers on the track for 30 more seconds of trying to score. Descriptive Vixen looking a little bit tired here as Ego comes out and is immediately sent back to the penalty box for something, but gets a second penalty for skating on the track instead of off of the track after getting her first penalty. So she will now be sitting for 1 full minute, which is going to go into the next jam.
Yeah, so the first penalty was a forearm, and then you got to go straight off the track, and we went about 30, 40 feet around.
Yeah, and she kind of threw her arms up like, oh, dang it. I think she realized it after she got that second penalty, giving an opportunity for the Bourbon Brawlers to outscore Cornfed in that jam, which brings them within 3 points with 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this half. What a freaking nail biter of a game. Like, these teams, nobody can, like, every time somebody starts to, like, pull away, it gets close again. Very close game.
I'd rather have a close game.
All right, we are starting with Ultra Ego in the box for that 1 minute penalty. So Glitterous has an opportunity here for the Bourbon Brawlers to turn things around. And first thing Glitter does is gets a lead jammer status and is now eligible to score points. When Ultra Ego comes out of the box, she will be on her initial pass. So we'll need to pass all 4 of the Bourbon Brawler blockers. Oh, that's a mouthful. Before being eligible to score points.
All 4
points,
Bourbon Brawlers. Bourbon
yeah,
Brawlers. Bourbon Brawlers. Bourbon
Brawler blockers.
Bourbon Brawlers.
Glitterous has scored 4 points with a lead change, and the Bourbon Brawlers will now be in the lead.
Listen, I don't want to change their name, but I just want to be like Bourbon Ballers.
That'd be fun. All right, Ultra Ego is back and will now be on their initial, so not scoring any points yet until they've made their first pass. Glitter is through for 4 more points for Bourbon Brawlers, bringing the total to 83 to 78 as the period time has run out, but jam time we still have 50 seconds left. This is in Glitterous's hands, whether or not we are going to go the full 2 minutes. Ultra Ego fighting their way through.
Addie had a nice hit on the outside to draw Glitterous back.
Everybody falling. Penalty called on someone, a Bourbon Brawler blocker. As the jam is called, Bourbon Brawlers did some damage there at the end to go into halftime. 9 points above Cornfed. So Bourbon Brawlers 87, Killer Kernels 78. Very close game. Oh, we have people watching us from New Zealand. I love that. I love it when we get to have people watching us from different countries.
I love it.
We're so excited to have you here, and we're glad to have you listening to Derby Date Night tonight.
I'm just curious, what time is it in New Zealand?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's tomorrow.
Is it really?
I do believe it's Sunday there. So,
gosh.
Michelle, let us know. Or Mitch.
With that being said, we are going to take a small break while we wait for Michelle to tell us what time it is in New Zealand. While we are on this break, please do not hesitate to like and subscribe. We are enjoying our Derby Date Night with you tonight and loving this game. Looking forward to some more hard-hitting action when we come back. Welcome back to the second half of the Cornfed Killer Kernels versus the Louisville Bourbon Brawlers. We have had a very exciting first half, and this game is very close, and we are excited to have you joining us for the second half.
It's a palindrome. I didn't notice. The score's a palindrome.
The score is a palindrome, and Melody, the elementary school teacher, is very excited about this.
Ooh.
Yes, in New Zealand, it is 1:42 on Sunday, so they are coming to us from the future. Future fans. I love it. All right, Adderall jamming for Killer Kernels and Glitterous for Bourbon Brawlers. Glitterous just sneaking through on the outside to grab that lead jammer status. Addie has the hat off, but does not need to pass it to anybody, so is going to be putting that back on as she is about half a track behind Glitterous, who sails through for 4 points and immediately calls the jam after scoring those 4 points. This has been a fun home opener for Cornfed. The crowd has been so excited to be here. The skaters, you can tell, are just really enjoying being out there. It's been just a fun home opener.
Yeah.
All right, Barbarian is lining up for Cornfed. And who is hiding behind Barbarian? Is it Phoenix? It's Phoenix. That pack is not moving. Both jammers trying to find space. Barbarian finds it, almost gets caught there by Extra, but is out as lead jammer. Glitterous also out about 3/4 of a track behind as Barbarian is entering the pack on their first scoring pass. Finds that space, just crashing through. I love the name Barbarian. It really does go with their skating style. It's amazing. I also read online that Barbarian likes Dungeons and Dragons, and I was super excited about that. Woo. B Squared is just owning. Yep, that is a track cut. B Squared was just owning Smack Harlow there.
You cannot enter in even. You have to come in behind. Or in front. You have to come in behind.
While all of that was happening, Barbarian scored another 4 points as a Louisville blocker is headed to the penalty box.
For blocking out of play.
Thank you. Barbarian sees the inside line completely open and takes 4 points. Killer Kernels catching up here, only 1 point away from taking the lead. Cornfed playing some offense, opening up that outside line, but Phoenix noticed it happening and was ready with the defense, but unfortunately got called on a directional. Look at me.
Hey, look
I know. Power Jam is over. Barbarian has picked up 16 points. The lead has changed. The Killer Kernels are now winning this game. There have been like a few lead changes this game.
No, they're down by 1.
Up. I did not see Smack Harlow also scoring 4 points. So 1 point separating these two teams.
It's a 1 point jam.
Woo-hoo.
It's a 1 point jam.
Treva is in the chat, one of our former teammates. Hi, Treva.
Hi, Treva.
Ultra Ego lining up again. I love seeing all these new jammers.
I know, right?
They're new jammers for Cornfed. This is exciting. Ultra Ego and Barbarian have been doing a lot of jamming. Lavender was jamming once. Like, this is exciting.
I think they might have thrown a couple of people out just to see what happened because
pretty little tiptoes with Descriptive Vixen, but she got tripped up and was not able to get out of the pack. While that was happening, though, Ultra Ego just kind of snuck on through and grabbed that lead jammer status for Cornfed.
No. Vixen already got
Vixen
lead
had
jammer,
lead.
but just got caught up.
And if Ego can pass at least one person, 2 people. Yep, Cornfed has taken the lead.
4 points for Ultra Ego.
Vixen took the helmet cover off of her helmet, so we are now in a 2-minute jam.
1 minute and 21 seconds. Everybody out on that track gets to keep going. The only break they're going to get is if they go to the penalty box.
Just keep skating, skating, skating.
So there will be no lead jammer.
All right, Ego is through for 4 points there. That we have broken the century mark, and we are at 102 for Cornfed to Bourbon Brawlers 95.
We broke 200.
As Descriptive Vixen is sitting in the penalty box, Cornfed is going to try to extend this lead. Ziggy coming out from the penalty box to help. Disruptive Vixen is out, and Cornfed is trying to slow things down as Disruptive Vixen approaches the pack. As a blocker is called on a multiplayer, Ego takes that opportunity of a space being created to grab those 4 points. Malibu's Barbie.
On a multiplayer.
Ultra Ego coming around to try and score again. Is Descriptive Vixen still on their initial? That's the initial.
Correct.
Okay. Descriptive Vixen just got out, so will be eligible to score, but only has 5 seconds, so I don't think any more points are going to be coming from Louisville this jam.
All right. I'm still in favor of getting a video camera on us to cut, because y'all just missed us kind of just head dancing.
We were both just dancing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the vibes. Good vibes at Derby tonight. It's been a really fun game. For a really fun night. Adderall jamming for Killer Kernels and Trixie Heldon for the Bourbon Brawlers. Addie getting pushed to the inside. Trixie just trying to brute force past Goldie, which is a hard thing to do. Goldie and B blocking together at the front, allowing Addie to get out as lead jammer while they hold Trixie Heldon. Penalty called on Goldie.
That was a forearm.
Adderall approaching the pack on her first scoring pass. Gets a little bit slowed down there. Trixie sees a space and runs for it.
Oh.
Stealing 4 points. That was pretty. That was real pretty.
Yeah.
You don't know if she got him?
Oh, no, she did.
Okay.
I wouldn't say stealing.
I would say stealing if you're not lead. I don't know.
I
don't know.
I did that.
I think it's stealing a little
bit.
Okay. It's like she snuck them. She snuck them.
She did. Yeah. Okay.
So
sneaking.
Yeah.
That's not really stealing. I feel like you're just sneaking them. It's like you're stealing a cookie off the counter before dinner.
Yeah, you're justifying your theft that you did earlier tonight when you were stealing points. Barbarian pushing to try and get out. Takes a hit to the inside, forced to recycle. Glitterous also pushed to the inside and being forced to recycle. No pack being called. These skaters got to get a little bit closer to each other. While that's happening, Barbarian does push their way through and is out as lead jammer. Glitterous is about a quarter track behind Barbarian. Barbarian coming around. The packs are getting ready to engage the jammers.
Ooh, just a little tap from Ziggy. Was that a no pack?
Glitterous trying to push their way through as Barbarian in the front trying to push their way through. Everybody kind of taking a little bit of a tumble at the front there. Barbarian is headed to the penalty box, and Glitterous will have an opportunity here to score some points for the Bourbon Brawlers
now,
with a power jam.
Barb will get out, so Barb does have some points in the pocket. They're just not called yet, or might have some points in the pocket. I don't know yet.
Glitterous just has to get past Goldie and is able to do so for 4 more points for the Bourbon Brawlers. 30 seconds left in this jam as Glitterous is approaching the pack. Barbarian is out of the pack, coming up on... Now, Barbarian was in the middle of a scoring pass, right? When Barbarian went to the box. Debbie Darko headed to the penalty box as no pack is called and the skaters need to let Glitterous go.
Goldie is going to the box for
blocking
out of play.
All right, Bourbon Brawlers definitely cut into that lead there. They are 6 points behind with 111 to 117.
Everybody's at 3 digits. Way to go, Bourbon Brawlers.
Yeah.
Hitting that 100 mark. You know, I was full of energy, and now that I've sat here, I'm tanking. I need some pep.
You know, this is about the same time that the first game went over 100 as well. Like, this has been kind of similar. Ooh!
That
Phoenix
was pretty.
running up the inside line to grab that lead jammer status. Yeah, it's been a very similar feel and vibe from the first game to the second game. It's interesting.
I love it.
Phoenix asking for some things from her offense as they have more skaters on the track as Goldie and Debbie are both standing in the penalty box. Phoenix calls the jam, freezing Debbie and Goldie in the penalty box.
Ego is going to the box.
Oh,
I'm not
as the jammer?
Yeah, as the jammer. I'm going to assume a back block.
So this will start as a Bourbon Brawlers power jam.
Power jam,
They will-
jam.
With 2 blockers from Cornfed in the box as well as a jammer. So Ziggy and Alexecutioner are going to try and do some blocking on their own as they are getting squeezed. Lexa is going to do some one-on-one blocking. Great job by these 2 blockers on their own. No pack is called, so they are forced to let her go. Oh, Lexa just barely didn't reform in time and will be headed to the box herself. But Goldie and Debbie are back, so Ziggy has some friends as Alexa is headed to the box. And Ultra Ego is coming out of the box and will now be on a scoring pass while Descriptive Vixen at some point went to the box herself. So will be a 2-minute jam, or is no?
It is a 2-minute jam. Vixen was
Vixen was lead.
Aaron Byrne
But Ultra
also
Ego
is
has
in the
now
box.
been called lead. Are you sure Vixen was lead?
I guess I wasn't sure. I thought Vixen was lead.
Vixen is back out. Both jammers are in, and I don't know if Vixen is on a scoring pass or not.
No, apparently not because they didn't get lead.
Okay, so that was their initial.
I assumed they got out. Cornfed blockers had done a nice job of keeping Vixen in the pack.
And Ego calls the jam after scoring 4 more points, bringing their lead to 10 points with 18 minutes left in the game.
I love when you can just do easy math. 10 points.
Right? The 10 is super easy. I like that. We should only do scoring. Well, we used to when we used to have the 5th point for the jammer point, because you used to get a point when you passed the jammer, but now
Correct.
it's usually done in 4s because you get it just for the blockers.
Yes.
Official timeout being called by, I believe, the officials.
Correct.
It looks like Richie was calling it.
I think they're asking for some information about a possible penalty or why. I don't know.
I'm watching.
They were not quite sure what the penalty was called, so our penalty trackers needed to know what the penalty on, I would assume it Ziggy was, and it was blocking out of play.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's fun having a ref here to be
Hey.
able to explain all that. Although I'm getting better and better at being able to tell.
Ooh,
Adderall grabbing lead jammer status.
that was pretty.
Some great offense happening from the blockers there. Glitterous has the star off, getting pushed to the inside by Ed.
Glitterous has
Addie,
had a very good
right?
bout so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. Addie getting slowed down a little bit, recovering well, finding some space to grab 4 points for Cornfed. Glitterous has the star off.
B squared
is
heading
able
to the box.
get through, and no points scored as that was her initial, but when she comes around again, she will be on a scoring pass. Addie is currently trying to score some points and calls the jam before Bourbon Brawlers can score any points. Oh, nope, Bourbon
Nope.
Brawlers stole a point.
Should be 2. That's all right though. Everybody's, it's learning.
Okay, they made the math harder with 132 to 116. Uh-huh.
Ultra Ego up the line up against Trixie.
Wait, I think we're eyeing each other on 2 different topics. Let's just new jam. Great. Alter Ego is
I was
jamming.
trying to do math.
Oh, that's not what I was focused on.
I was trying to figure out how many points were between the 2 teams, and I gave up. Trixie Heldon is getting a is the jammer for Louisville and also getting a penalty. The
For
pivot is also getting a penalty.
Cornfed's jammer is getting a penalty. We're going to have a jammer exchange.
Yep, everybody on the track is confused.
Me too.
So, yeah. Now, as Ego goes to the box, Trixie is released. And now we will go for the full jam. So 1 minute, 16 seconds left for both these jammers to try and score points or give the hat to the pivot. There's a lot of yelling happening.
Yes.
Why is there so much yelling happening?
I believe Louisville's teammates are cheering and helping.
Everybody's very excited. This has been a very close game. Ego sailing through on her initial. Trixie is, I think, on a scoring pass right now. Yes, she is on a scoring pass. As Ego comes through to grab 4 points.
Oh, that was some smart play with Lexecutioner. So Trixie was trying to look for a panty pass, and Lexecutioner went up to block the white pivot, and the white pivot got a direction penalty.
Oh, interesting. Oh, Ego is headed to the box again on a track cut. Trixie Heldon is able to stay in bounds after avoiding a hit from B, and is going to be coming around to try and score some more points, but not so much because that jam has ended with Ego still in the box, and she is not standing, which means she has more than 10 seconds left for the Brawlers to try and grab that lead jammer status and chink into this lead a little bit.
Power jam. Hi, Ranger. Hi, Heatham. Yes, much love to our refs and NSOs. We could not play roller derby without, I mean, we could. It just would not be pretty.
No, it wouldn't. Everybody would just do all the penalties. We've tried, like, hey, call your own penalty. People don't like to do that for some reason. All right. Phoenix coming out of the pack to grab that lead jammer status. Ego is standing in the box as Phoenix is dashing around the track. Rita and Weep trying to do some offense. Lavender sees it coming and pushes Phoenix to the inside, who takes a little slip as Ultra Ego is entering the pack on her initial. Phoenix is getting real stuck. Debbie and Lav doing a great job there with some blocking.
I hate having to go up against Debbie.
Debbie's hard to get around.
In a good way. I hate it in a good way.
Calls the jam with 13 minutes left in this game. Timeout being called by Cornfed. Oh, now I can do the math. It's 16 points between the teams.
Listen, I am not a mathematician. I am not a math teacher. I teach music. I count to 4, 8, 16.
When Kimbo Slicer is announcing with me, I enjoy it because she is a math teacher and she helps me do the math.
Yes.
Next time Derby Date Night is live, we will be watching Kimbo Slicer at Cornfed's first away game on March 23rd. Cornfed also does have a home game on March 16th, 17th?
It's the week before, the 16th?
The week before, the Saturday before. The 16th is Cornfed's next home game. Derby Date Night unfortunately will not be able to be there, but we will be streaming their away game on March 23rd. Cornfed also has a home game on April 20th. And then my favorite event, the Small Town Smackdown, will be June 8th and 9th.
Oh, April 20th is my last home game? Okay.
You're getting the retirement blues already. Don't worry. You were just all-star MVP.
It's not really the blues.
Oh, do you know what my Facebook memories told me today?
What?
Today is the 4 years ago was the last time I played in a game. Today, 4 years ago. February of 2020. That was my last game I ever played in.
I remember that game. I was real pregnant.
It was kind of sad because I didn't know it was my last game. Misadventure is your lead jammer for Cornfed. Descriptive Vixen is jamming for Bourbon Brawlers has taken the Jammer Star off, but finds some space on the inside and is able to get through. Misadventure hitting the pack on a scoring pass, using brute force to get through for 4 points as Descriptive Vixen is coming around, thinking about scoring some points, but Misadventure is going to call the jam and make sure that no points are able to be scored.
Yes, that is true. My last game is on 420.
Oh, end on a high note.
I get it. I get it.
Oh my gosh. That's funny for reasons that I won't expand on.
If you know, you know, right?
Sirius is losing it over here.
See, now I'm having a moment that your last game was 4 years ago.
I know.
And
4 years ago, and you were pregnant, and
my
your
daughter,
child is about to have a 4th birthday. As Adderall is getting lead jammer status. I love watching Addie's stride. It just looks so easy. Oh, she got a penalty there, though. So Phoenix is lead jammer because Addie must have gotten that penalty before she passed that 4th blocker.
Yep.
Oh, so Phoenix is lead jammer and can try and cut into this 20-point lead that Cornfed has.
Ooh, that's easy math.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I got a little.
All right, and is able to get through for 4 points for the Bourbon Brawlers.
That's 16. I can do this math, I think.
Addie is standing, so will be in the penalty box. Nope, and is released from the penalty box. So that power jam is now over as Phoenix is trying to get through for 4 more points, but is going to have to get past some great blocking and no, and is able to get through to grab those 4 points. And the jam is called after scoring 8 points, so 12 points separating the teams. Look at our math.
Oh,
Doing
it's
so well.
12 points.
If you have not subscribed, please do so. We are less than 50 people away from 500, and guess what happens when we get to 500?
What?
We can do super chats, and we can highlight different people who are participating in the chat.
Wait,
and
what are super chats?
Super chats, it's like if somebody wants to be like a featured fan or something like that in the chat, then they can have super chats and they can like shout out skaters and different things like that. Misadventure is your lead jammer.
I'm too old for all this technology.
I'm older than you by a lot.
Not that much.
Misadventure coming in on a first scoring pass.
Ooh, own team. Always unfortunate.
Trixie Helden jamming for Bourbon Brawlers as Ed comes through on a scoring pass to grab 4 points. Trixie Helden looking for some help with a truck and trailer move with one of her blockers is able to get through as Misadventure comes around, trying to score a few more points here in this jam. We are under 10 minutes left in this game as the jam is called.
See, now I'm like stuck in my head and I'm trying to do the math about how old you are. I remember going to your 40th birthday. Are you older or younger than Sunny?
Younger. Thanks for telling all of our viewers that I'm over 40.
Sorry. I'm 37. There.
I'm 44 now.
Oh, okay.
So 4 years ago when I had my last game, I was 40. And you were having a baby.
And I was having a baby.
Grabbing lead jammer status and playing to the crowd a little bit there. Glitterous jamming for Bourbon Brawlers.
You are not that old.
No, I'm not that old, but I am older than you.
That is true.
Ziggy coming around on her first scoring pass. Does a little swoop and breaks apart the pack. As Ziggy calls the jam before Glitterous can score any points. Very well done. Ziggy was one of the skaters I used to skate with a lot when I skated. She and I were often in the same pack.
Yeah.
Watching from Illinois. Welcome from Illinois to Derby Date Night, where my husband, Seriously, and I enjoy our dates and Melody crashes them.
Hey.
I love it when you crash our dates.
I like
and all
being
of you
here.
in the chat, honestly, crash our dates too. We're all on a date together. I have not checked in on the kids, which is very different than last year. Like, I know they're fine. They're in their caves playing video games.
They're fine.
They're fine. All right, Descriptive Vixen grabbing that lead jammer status for the Bourbon Brawlers, while Addie takes a hit from Malibu's Barbie, former junior skater.
Oh.
Addie is also a former junior skater.
Yes.
So that's former junior skaters against each other.
I actually learned some knowledge about Addie's skates. She got them for her 11th birthday, and she's about to turn 22.
Oh, my goodness. How do you... Oh, okay. Descriptive Vixen.
Oh, wait, no. Maybe it's her 12th birthday.
Descriptive Vixen has scored 4 points. There was a star pass to Zig from Cornfed, and Ziggy will now be the jammer, but will not be able to score any points because the jam was called with 7 minutes left in this jam. Game. There's not 7 minutes left in a jam. 7 minutes left in a game. Okay. It's the second game I have called, and I haven't done this since, what, September? So I'm a little rusty. What? I didn't even what?
What'd you do in September?
Oh, August? July? I don't remember. July? It's been too long. Derby Date Night needs to be here more often. Ultra Ego is your lead jammer for Cornfed. Phoenix has got that star off and is pushing, trying to break this pack apart. Ultra Ego is on her first scoring pass, is weaving through the pack as Phoenix was able to make it out. Ultra Ego getting pushed to the outside, getting forced to recycle by Smack Harlow. Whoever was wondering where she is, there she is. Forcing Ultra Ego to slow down a little bit as Phoenix is trying to get through. Just has to get past Goldie, is able to do so, but only grabbed 3 points there.
Four all around.
Oh, it got changed to 4. I was like so confused as to why it was 3. Where's Alexa? Alexa has been out a few times. She was just blocking. Yeah, she was just blocking. I forgot to do the warning of people turning off their Alexas when they watch us live.
Hey, Alexa.
No, don't mess with people's Alexas. Sureblock Bones jamming for the first time for Bourbon Brawlers is lead jammer. Sureblock Bones, this is their first game and coming out as lead jammer during their first game.
Heck yeah.
Being chased
Go
down
Bones.
by Misadventure, who has now passed Sureblock Bones and is through but getting swallowed up a little bit. Sureblock Bones has scored 4 points. This place has gotten so loud because we are very close to the Louisville cheering section, and they are very excited for Sureblock Bones getting a lead jam on their first jam. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I love watching new skaters do great things for the first time.
Me too. And all of the first time skaters, this is with all of the skaters with this being their first bout are doing an awesome job.
I would agree. You can't even tell that this is so many people's first game. Like I said, 5 Cornfed and 7 Louisville, like newer skaters or first-time skaters. So really proud of all of these skaters out here making it look easy, honestly. And Derby is not easy. Addie jamming for Killer Kernels. Oh, sorry, Little Addie Adderall getting lead jammer for Cornfed. And Glitterous is jamming for Louisville, being held by Ziggy, Goldie, and Debbie. A hard group to get past here.
Oh, there has been a star pass to Smack.
And Addie is now scoring points, trying to get through. Smack Harlow is now the jammer for Bourbon Brawlers. Who's going to the box?
It was 2-6 for a direction.
Addie
there's another one.
Out after scoring 4 points, but is chasing down Smack Harlow, who's now either going to... Nope, Addie's going to call it and not let Smack score any points there.
I mean, that's
3 minutes left in the game.
That's some smart gameplay. Two white blockers in and in the box, and Alexa was able to get out of the box. So Cornfed is starting with a full pack and 2 for Louisville.
Carla Wambulance, another first-time skater. This is the first game for Carla Wambulance, and Wham will be jamming for Bourbon Brawlers, while Ultra Ego is jamming for Cornfed. Wham just has to get past B Squared, who gives a solid hit to the inside. Ultra Ego will be lead jammer. Wham took a hit to the outside, but was forced to recycle as she recovered from that hit, has now gotten through as long as she doesn't get swallowed. Oh, she got swallowed up, but Ego is in on a scoring pass now, as Wham is still trying to break apart these Cornfed blockers and hoping to get through. And Wham is through. Woohoo! Did not score any points, but got a well-earned trip.
165-141. Still only 23 points. That's what?
20-something points between teams.
Trixie at the line.
We are going to pause for an official timeout.
Mathematically, it is still possible for the Brawlers to pull it out if they have 6 passes, which if they would manage to get 3 to 1, get a timeout, and take the full jam on the second. So this is still technically anybody's foul.
So we've only got a minute and 39 seconds, and they are 24 points apart at this point. This has been a great game, just watching everybody, and especially seeing these new skaters do things for the first time, and listening to this crowd has just been absolutely wonderful to be able to hear that.
Yes.
We had a skater who was injured, but is walking on their own back to their bench, and so
I think they're going to continue to get checked out by the medics, actually.
Yep. Kellen and Bomber are medics who are always helping us out and just being great to be here. We really appreciate them. So with that, we are back to Derby.
This could possibly be the last jam.
It could possibly be the last jam of the game. We've really loved having you all join us. Please subscribe to our channel.
Like and
find us on Facebook and Instagram and all those places so that you know where we're coming next. Ed out as your lead jammer for Cornfed. And Trixie, who was jamming for the Bourbon Brawlers, is going to the penalty box for a forearm penalty.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
I got it. Misadventure gets 4 points.
That was beautiful offense.
That was beautiful offense. Helping Misadventure out. Misadventure is coming in on another score and pass here. Looking for some help from Ziggy, who sweeps that outside open for Misadventure, who just sails right through. Wonderful job there.
That was beautiful teamwork.
All right, Ed coming around on another scoring pass, and Trixie Heldon is now out of the pack. Will not be on a scoring pass, needs to get past these Cornfed blockers first. Ed through for another 4 points. Trixie getting snagged up in behind this tripod of Cornfed blockers. As Ed is approaching the pack, there is 33 seconds left in this period. If Ed lets this run, this will be the last jam. Ed through for another 4 points. Trixie Heldon still having trouble getting out of that pack, trying to break people apart. Ed sailing through for another 4 points, bringing the total to 20 for this jam. 10 seconds left in the period as Trixie is still being held. Ziggy, Lavender, and Goldie just doing an amazing job here. And Lexa's out there too. Wonderful job by those blockers. We are in jam time only. Ed has come in for more points. I think is Ed up to 24 at this point?
I mean, yes, once they get out of the pack. Oh, yeah,
Some
24.
penalties being called, and this game is over with, I think, the highest scoring jam of the night to finish us off.
I know I had a 20.
Yep, 24, I think, is the
go
record for
Ed. Way
tonight.
to
Good
go.
job, Misadventure. We are so glad you all joined us tonight. Killer Kernels 189, Bourbon Brawlers 141. Please like and subscribe. We will see you again on March 23rd when we are in Indianapolis for Cornfed versus Circle City Roller Derby, one of our favorite matchups because those two teams all battle each other every year, and you get to battle your best friend.
I get to play my best
and jam
twice.
against your best friend who is in the chat. So thank you all for joining us. We love you all, and we will see you again in a month.
Bye.